If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 1, which will come first, tomorrow or an accident? The morning sun shines through the gaps between the leaves, casting patches of light and shadow on the ground. Aoki stands sideways, holding a longbow. His long black hair is casually tied back, complementing his sturdy figure and heroic, masculine appearance. His black and white eyes are filled with wild intensity. Takina carefully sorts through the scattered arrows, glancing up at Aoki from time to time. Aomura Kazuhiko sits on a chair, lights a cigarette, takes a deep puff, and smiles contentedly. Wisps of smoke drift from the roof of the wooden house nearby. Thud. The arrow strikes the bullseye with precision. Aoki, your archery skills have improved again. Aomura Kazuhiko said, his face brimming with admiration. Aoki's eyes showed a flicker of disappointment as he set down his longbow. Master, when will we go into the mountains again? Aomura Kazuhiko tapped the pipe bowl, shaking out the burnt tobacco, and smiled. Don't worry, don't worry. We'll go in a couple of days. I'm heading into town today to buy some cigarettes, and the bow I ordered for you is ready. The bow is ready. Aoki's eyes brightened. For now, he was using an old bow discarded by his master. Though serviceable, it wasn't particularly well suited to him. Aomura Kazuhiko suggested, Aoki, you should come with us this time. Aoki's eyes narrowed. Master, did you encounter any trouble? No, no. Aomura Kazuhiko waved his hand with a reassuring smile. You've been up here in the mountains for a year, always training or hunting. You're still young, there's no need to work so hard. There's a gathering in town. You and Takina can go and enjoy yourselves for a couple of days. Dad, I still have a lot of work to do. Takina protested, looking up. Her long blue hair fell gracefully over her fair face. Her eyes were bright, her teeth white, and her eyebrows beautifully arched, making her stunningly attractive. Aoki added, let's talk about it next time, master. I want to study the 2 traps you taught me earlier. Well, okay. Aomura Kazuhiko replied with a hint of regret in his voice. At that moment, Aomura Rihui, wearing an apron and with a plump, motherly figure, stepped out of the wooden house. She smiled gently and waved to them. Come eat. Coming. The 3 responded in unison. As they walked toward the house, Aoki glanced at his system interface. Name, Aoki. Strength, 4. Constitution, 4. Intelligence, 5. Agility, 4. Profession, Hunter. Hunter. Quality. Level, LV4, 397/400. Skills, Hunting Instinct, Dexterity, Eagle Eyes, Boiling Blood, not yet learned. Quest, none. Not even a single bit of experience. Aoki thought, shaking his head in disappointment. A year ago, Aoki had been transported to this world. The body he now inhabited belonged to an orphan who had died after accidentally falling off a cliff while cutting wood in the mountains. After his arrival, Aoki was found and rescued by Kazuhiko Aomura, who had been hunting nearby. Since then, he had lived with Kazuhiko and his family. Once his injuries healed, Aoki became Kazuhiko's apprentice. He awakened a system and the hunter profession. From that point on, he devoted himself to leveling up his hunter skills. For hunters, gaining experience primarily came through hunting. The tougher and more challenging the prey, the more experience points earned. Initially, Aoki could gain a small amount of experience through practice. However, after reaching level 3, practice alone no longer provided any experience. Cluck, cluck. Next to the wooden house was a chicken coop, separated by a fence. 3 old yellow hens were pecking leisurely at grass seeds. As Aoki passed by, he glanced at them and mused, I wonder if I could gain 3 experience points by killing them. He only needed 3 more experience points to level up. The thought of being so close but not quite there was like a pebble in his shoe, a constant source of unease. Hey! The hens looked up warily but, sensing no threat, resumed pecking at the seeds. For breakfast, they had rice, miso soup, fried fish, and pickled vegetables. Aomura was an excellent cook, and even simple meals tasted delicious. The 4 of them ate together, enjoying the meal and each other's company. After breakfast, Aomura Kazuhiko took a bundle of furs and headed down the mountain. Aoki returned to his archery practice. Though he couldn't gain experience directly from practicing, improving his archery skills would increase his hunting efficiency, and consequently, the speed at which he gained experience. This disciplined routine was part of his commitment to becoming a better hunter. The next day, Aoki was back at his usual spot, practicing archery. Nearby, Takina had set up a small stool and was busy tanning leather. She kept glancing at Aoki, then looking away. Noticing this, Aoki finally put down his longbow. "Just say what's on your mind," he said, a bit amused. Takina blushed but didn't avoid his gaze. "It's not that I don't want to go into town with you," she began seriously. "I just want to finish making you some clothes first. Winter is coming soon, and you don't have the right winter clothes yet." A smile spread across Aoki's face. "Then once you've made the clothes, let's go to town together." "Okay." Takina agreed, brushing a few wayward strands of blue hair behind her ears. Suddenly, a thought made Aoki blurt out, "Takina, do you know why Master wants us to go into town together?" He instantly regretted it. Why did he ask that? The Master's intention was clear, to give them time alone together to develop their feelings. How could he bring this up so directly? Takina looked away, her ears turning a delicate shade of pink. She whispered, "I know." Aoki blinked in surprise. Knowing and being willing meant. He realized that both Kazuhiko and Ri hoped he would marry Takina. It was clear Takina didn't reject the idea, and this was the first time she had hinted so openly at her feelings. He could sense that Takina didn't reject him, but this was the first time she had expressed her feelings so clearly. Aoki glanced at the sky. It's almost dark. Why hasn't Master come back yet?" Takina looked at him, a small smile playing at the corner of her mouth. Maybe an old friend invited him to stay for a drink. It's happened before. The mountains were dangerous, home to top predators like bears and wolves. Even experienced hunters avoided the mountains after drinking. But Master always lets us know in advance, Aoki mused, a flicker of concern crossing his mind. Still, he reassured himself with the thought that with Kazuhiko's strength, even encountering a top predator wouldn't pose a threat. Mountain weather was unpredictable. Suddenly, dark clouds rolled in, and the rumble of thunder echoed ominously. Inside the wooden house, dim candlelight flickered gently. Aoki, Takina, and Aomura sat around the table, working and chatting. Bang! The door burst open, and a dark figure stood in the doorway. His head was bowed, face hidden in shadow. His hair was disheveled, and one hand clutched his shoulder as if holding something. Plop! Blood dripped from his arm, forming scarlet drops on the floor. Aoki and the others immediately recognized him. It was Aomura Kazuhiko. "Dad!" Takina cried out, jumping to her feet. Aomura hurried to the door, her voice filled with worry. "What happened? How did you get like this? What a strong smell of blood!" Aoki muttered, frowning. A sense of unease washed over him, and his hand instinctively reached for the longbow resting against the wall. Crack! A flash of lightning lit up the room, freezing Aomura in her tracks and making Takina step back. A shiver ran down Aoki's spine, his skin tingling, and his heart almost stopped beating. Chapter 2, Demon. Kazuhiko Aomura, in his 40s, typically sported a 2mm beard on his handsome face. Despite his usual rugged appearance, he had a hint of a playboy temperament, marking him as a striking middle-aged man. However, at this moment, his handsome visage was marred by ferocious blue veins. His eyes had transformed into snake-like vertical pupils, radiating intense indifference, malice, and deep greed. His mouth bore saw-like sharp teeth, with bits of flesh and blood clinging between them. Scarlet blood dripped from the corners of his mouth, and in his hand, he held a human thigh, covered in gruesome bite marks. Aoki recoiled in horror. What is this? The figure at the door was unmistakably not Kazuhiko Aomura. No. This wasn't even human. Cannibalism? Zombies? Monsters? I found you. Takina, Aoki, aren't you happy to see me? The impostor's voice dripped with strange excitement as he advanced towards Aomura. Whoosh! An arrow flew like a meteor, piercing his head and pinning him to the wall. Aoki stood firm, holding the longbow with a steely gaze. Lady Ri, be careful. This is definitely not Master. Aoki warned, his voice sharp with urgency. Aomura stepped back in shock, her voice trembling with indescribable pain and despair. It's a demon. He's a man-eating demon. A demon. Aoki furrowed his brow. When he thought of demons, the first thing that came to mind was a creature formed from a departed soul. However, the demon before him was clearly not the type he was familiar with. Click. Kazuhiko lifted his arm, seized the arrow, and yanked it out of his head. A man-eating demon. It won't die even if shot through the head. It looks ferocious, like those from Japan in the Meiji period. A lightning bolt struck in Aoki's mind. Is this the world of Demon Slayer? Before he could ponder further, a black shadow lunged at him suddenly, and Aoki barely had time to raise his bow across his chest. Boom! The impact slammed him against the wall with tremendous force. Aoki felt his internal organs churn, his back ached as if it were shattered, and a metallic taste of blood lingered in his mouth. He was filled with horror. What speed? What strength? By his estimation, humans typically maxed out at 5 points across their physical attributes. His own abilities weren't exceptional, each of his attributes only reached 4 points. Intelligence had reached 5 points because when he leveled up to Hunter level 2, he received a free attribute point. He had speculated whether intelligence equated to IQ, so he allocated it there, proof that it didn't. Kazuhiko has at least 6 points of strength. He completely overpowered Aoki's 4 points of strength. I'll kill you first. Kazuhiko grimaced, exerting relentless pressure with his hands. Creaking. The longbow pressed against Aoki's chest, sinking in gradually. Aoki could hear the groaning of his ribs under the crushing weight. No. Can't hold on. His strength is overwhelming. His body is about to break. At that moment. Bang! A stick struck hard. Kazuhiko tilted his head, his body swayed involuntarily, his movements slowing down. He turned angrily. Takina gasped, fear in her pretty face, but she stood firm. Her eyes widened, teeth clenched, she swung the stick again. Let go of Aoki. Bang! Kazuhiko effortlessly caught the stick with his right hand, fury on his face, murderous intent evident. If you want to die, then I will. Boom! Before he could finish, he was sent flying, crashing into tables and chairs, landing hard on the ground. Aoki planted his feet, took a breath, and spoke quickly, Takina, Lady Ri, get out of here. Leave this to me. Aoki. Aomura looked pale and unsure. Without hesitation, Takina dropped the stick, seized Aomura's hand, and fled towards the back door without looking back. Don't you dare escape! Kazuhiko growled, struggling to get up. Aoki knocked an arrow, not needing to aim at such close range. Thunk! The arrow, tipped slightly blue, pierced Kazuhiko's head, knocking him down again. Kazuhiko tried to rise but shook his head, his expression changing. Poison! Aoki didn't answer, but relief washed over him. Thankfully, it worked. In preparation for emergencies, he had made a few poison arrows, not expecting to use them under such dire circumstances. Firing another poison arrow, Aoki turned and sprinted towards the main gate without looking back. Damn it! Kazuhiko pounded the ground in fury. 3 targets, yet he failed to capture any. You won't get away. He snarled, pulling out the arrows and charging towards the main gate. Compared to the 2 women, he desired Aoki's death more. As he stepped outside, a sharp sound of air being sliced filled his ears, causing Kazuhiko to instinctively halt. Swish! An arrow flew past him, narrowly missing, and embedded itself into the chicken coop nearby. The 3 hens huddled together in a corner, trembling in fear. Puff! Another arrow descended from the sky, skewering them in a line. Cluck, cluck, cluck! The hens squawked and thrashed desperately, worsening their wounds with each struggle. It was quite accurate just now, how come it suddenly became a chicken-killing arrow method? Kazuhiko laughed and rushed towards Aoki. Aoki ignored him and turned to run. The 2 chased each other, closing the distance quickly. Killed 1 chicken and gained 1 experience point. Killed 1 chicken and gained 1 experience point. Killed 1 chicken and gained 1 experience point. Congratulations, you have leveled up. Upon hearing the system prompt, Aoki's eyes suddenly ignited with determination. Success! 3 hens gathered 3 experience points. The azure blue screen appeared in his vision. Name, Aoki backslash strength, 4 backslash. Backslash constitution, 4 backslash. Backslash intelligence, 5 backslash. Backslash agility, 4 backslash. Backslash profession, hunter backslash. Backslash free attribute point, 1 backslash. Backslash hunter backslash. Quality. Level, LV5. Skills, hunting instinct, dexterity, eagle eyes, blood boiling, to be learned. Free skill point, 1. Every hunter level up grants 1 skill point and every 2 levels grant 1 attribute point. Aoki wasted no time and allocated the attribute point to strength. Instantly, warmth flowed through his body, muscles swelling slightly. But it wasn't enough. Hunter's 4 skills. Hunting instinct enhances tracking and identifying prey traces, dexterity boosts trap-making dexterity, and eagle eyes sharpens vision, enhancing archery. Blood boiling is a burst skill, temporarily enhancing physical prowess but inducing weakness afterward. Ordinarily, Aoki hunts with arrows or traps, requiring little combat prowess. Facing a spectral fiend, blood boiling was optimal. Learn blood boiling. Activate skill. Aoki inhaled deeply, blood surged, igniting. Boom. Unprecedented power surged through him. Chapter 3, Muzan Kibutsuji. Crack. Silver lightning exploded between heaven and earth. Aoki, running for his life, abruptly halted, drawing his longbow taut. Under the lightning's glare, the arrow's tip shimmered faintly with blue light. The last arrow, the final poison arrow. Boom. The arrow sliced through the air. Less than 5 meters apart, Kazuhiko had no escape. He didn't attempt to dodge, allowing the arrow to pierce his head. In an instant, he lunged at Aoki, swinging his arm like a javelin, aiming for Aoki's face. Swift. Menacing. Precise. Die, die. Just die obediently. Humans are nothing but food for demons. His eyes gleamed with bloodlust. Despite the poison weakening his strength, he dismissed its effects. He had witnessed firsthand how defenseless humans were against demons. As the razor-sharp claws closed in, Aoki stood unwavering, then suddenly leaned back. The claws flashed with icy glints, narrowly missing his face. In that split second, Aoki released his grip on the longbow and drew his hunting knife in reverse. With a swift motion, the hunting knife whistled through the air, tracing a graceful arc. Puff! Blood sprayed as the knife severed Kazuhiko's right arm at the elbow. Regaining balance, Aoki lunged forward, his hunting knife poised like a lethal wind towards Kazuhiko's neck. Startled, Kazuhiko staggered backwards. But he was too slow. The blade sliced deeply into his throat, gushing blood. For a human, such an injury outside of a hospital would be fatal. But Kazuhiko was a demon. The wound on his neck swiftly closed, and his severed arm began to regenerate. Ah! Aoki's eyes blazed with fury. He pressed forward with relentless determination, slashing furiously with his hunting knife. He couldn't allow Kazuhiko to recover. Fighting demons in a battle of strength and endurance was a path to self-destruction. Kazuhiko staggered under Aoki's relentless assault, retreating with each strike. Wounds accumulated on his body, and his healing slowed. How? How did his strength suddenly increase so much? Kazuhiko's face twisted with shock and confusion. Moments ago in the house, this man seemed feeble, vulnerable enough to be dispatched with ease. What had changed in the past few minutes? Distracted for a moment, Kazuhiko was caught off guard, pierced again from shoulder to rib, nearly cleaved in two. The intense pain contorted his expression, freezing him momentarily as his regenerated right hand thrust into Aoki's left chest like lightning. Even if his strength increased, what did it matter? The frail human body could never match a demon's. Injuries could pile up, but one opportune strike could turn the tide. Hide. The thought flickered in Aoki's mind but was swiftly suppressed. His apparent advantage stemmed solely from blood boiling. Sensing time slipping away, he knew once the effects waned, leaving him weakened, he'd be easy prey. No more delay. The battle had to end, no matter the cost. Madness flared in Aoki's eyes. Facing Kazuhiko's assault, he leaned slightly. Puff! Kazuhiko's claws pierced Aoki's chest, perilously close to his heart. But Aoki's resolve hardened, his gaze locking onto Kazuhiko. Die! Aoki bellowed, seizing Kazuhiko's arm with his left and wielding the hunting knife with lightning speed in his right. Puff! The monstrous head flew free. Still, Aoki didn't relent. He pivoted, evading Kazuhiko's grasp, and hurled the hunting knife as a hidden projectile. Puff! Bang! The knife rammed into Kazuhiko's head from the side, pinning it hard to a massive tree. Asshole! How dare you! I'll kill you! Kazuhiko remained defiant, cursing Aoki as the headless body flailed towards him. But he was blind. Aoki easily dodged, circled around, and delivered a forceful kick to Kazuhiko's knee pit. Plop! The headless body knelt down immediately. Aoki followed with another kick to the back, knocking Kazuhiko flat on the ground. He then grabbed a nearby stone and brought it down hard. Crack! The right knee shattered, eliciting a scream from the head nailed to the tree. Without hesitation, Aoki raised his arm again. Thighs, arms, heart. One after another. Suddenly, Aoki's body convulsed, the stone slipping from his hand as his face drained of color. Blood boiling had ended. Strength ebbed away like a receding tide, replaced by searing pain that swept over him. He groaned, sweat pouring down his face in torrents. Pain. It was unbearable. Aoki glanced down. He couldn't tell how much blood he had lost, half his body was stained crimson. I need to act quickly, or it'll bleed out. Using torn cloth, Aoki bandaged his wound. Kazuhiko's body was in a ruin, yet his muscles twitched involuntarily. The head on the tree ceased its struggles, eyes closed as if unconscious. That was it. Without a Nicaran sword, decapitating a demon was the only way to kill it outright. Come sunrise, everything would vanish with the first light. Aoki fell silent. Gone was the man who had succumbed to cannibalism. Kazuhiko was beyond redemption. His thoughts drifted momentarily, scenes flashing before his eyes. From the deerskin boots in a strange forest where he lay near death, to his master teaching him patiently archery, traps, tracking prey. The final scene surfaced, his master's regretful sigh after suggesting a date with Takina, only to be rejected. Aoki cleared his mind. I never imagined this was the world of Demon Slayer. Once I'm healed, I'll seek out the Demon Slayer core and learn the breathing technique. As a demon, it was defeated by a mere human. An unfamiliar voice tinged with anger suddenly broke the silence. A chill gripped Aoki as he realized. Unseen before, a black-haired youth appeared by the tree where Kazuhiko's head was impaled. Clad in a fitted black suit with a pristine white shirt, his face ghostly pale, plum-red eyes devoid of emotion. He raised Kazuhiko's head. Kazuhiko awoke, terror etched on his face. I'm sorry. Please, please give me another chance. The youth glanced at him, indifferent. Bang! Despair engulfed Kazuhiko as his head exploded, blood and flesh scattering. His body dissolved into black smoke, dissipating into the air. The youth turned to Aoki. A chill ran down Aoki's spine as the name surfaced in his mind. Muzan Kibutsuji. The first and strongest demon. He was also the master who initiated Kazuhiko Aomura's transformation into a demon. Chapter 4, Butterfly Sisters. A strong sense of crisis gripped Aoki's heart. The air felt thick and oppressive, like sticky blood, making it hard for him to breathe. Revenge had been on his mind, but not like this, not now. Swish! Muzan Kibutsuji suddenly appeared just 5 meters away from Aoki. The after-effects of blood boiling left Aoki's head numb, and he couldn't react for a moment. Snap! Muzan Kibutsuji seized Aoki by the neck and slowly lifted him off the ground. Aoki snapped out of his daze and tried to pry Muzan's arm off with both hands, but his efforts were futile. The gap between them was insurmountable. Their strengths were in entirely different dimensions. How should I deal with you? Muzan Kibutsuji asked indifferently, looking at Aoki. Aoki stopped struggling, his expression gradually calming. It seems my life has come to an end. Thankfully, Takina and Master's wife have escaped, he muttered. I wonder, if I die now, will it be final, or will I continue on to the next world? Aren't you afraid of death? Muzan Kibutsuji asked, narrowing his eyes. Aoki remained silent. Afraid? Of course he was afraid of death. How could anyone not be? But having faced death once already, he could confront it with more composure. A cold smile crept over Muzan Kibutsuji's face. I've decided. I'll turn you into a demon too. For years, he had searched for a demon capable of surviving in sunlight. This human seemed worth a try. A look of horror flashed across Aoki's face. Becoming a demon meant his soul would be corrupted, turning into a monstrous creature that fed on humans, no different from death itself. What troubled him more was the thought of Takina and Master's wife returning and encountering him in his twisted demonic form. No. This couldn't happen. Puff. Muzan Kibutsuji's finger pierced Aoki's forehead, sinking into his skull. Aoki's thoughts came to an abrupt halt. His expression turned ferocious, veins appearing at the corners of his eyes and spreading quickly across his face. "Let me see how far you can go," he growled. Muzan Kibutsuji loosened his grip, giving Aoki a brief glance before disappearing in an instant. Aoki collapsed to the ground, his eyes rolling back, his body convulsing, emitting an unearthly sound from his throat. Pa 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 pa. Raindrops as big as beans began to fall, quickly turning into a heavy downpour. Boom. Lightning cracked across the sky, followed by thunder and howling winds. The cold rain splashed against her face, jolting Amurari awake from her daze. "Takina, where are we headed?" she asked urgently. "I don't know," Takina replied calmly. "But we need to go far away from home. The only thing we can do now is not to bring trouble to Aoki." Amurari felt a pang of shame. In such a critical moment, she was proving far less dependable than her daughter. "Don't wander around. The forest at night is dangerous, especially in this heavy rain," Amurari said firmly. She took a deep breath and grasped Takina's hand firmly. "Come with me. I remember your father built a shelter nearby. We can hide there for now." The two braved the heavy rain, struggling along the rugged mountain road. Fortunately, their physical strength was robust. Living in the mountains meant frequent climbs and descents, ensuring their endurance was formidable. Finally, they reached a low cave. "Takina, hold on a little longer. I'll start a fire," Amurari said, skillfully arranging the firewood. Soon, a yellow bonfire crackled to life, dispelling the darkness and warming the two shivering with cold. "Luckily, your father's supplies are still here. Otherwise, making a fire would have been..." Amurari stopped abruptly mid-sentence. After a moment, she forced a smile and continued, "Takina, take off your clothes and dry them. Wet clothes can make you sick." "Okay," Takina replied. Neither of them spoke further. They sat silently beside the campfire, letting time pass, unable to sleep. It was unclear how much time had passed when a strange sound jolted them awake. Crash! The simple branch door blocking the cave entrance was suddenly moved aside. Amurari shielded Takina behind her, while Takina quietly picked up a stone. Both looked tense, fear flickering in their eyes. In the depths of the mountain, in the dead of night, amidst pouring rain, who would come knocking? Two figures wearing bamboo hats, one tall and one small, entered the cave. As they approached the fire, their features became clearer. They bore a striking resemblance, both exceedingly beautiful, dressed in matching dark blue uniforms adorned with colorful butterfly patterns. The taller girl removed her hat, revealing a gentle smile, and bowed politely. "I apologize for the intrusion. My name is Koko Kane, and this is my sister, Koko Shinobu. We were caught in the rainstorm and happened upon your cave. Could we shelter here for a while?" "Of course," Amurari said, relaxing her guard and letting out a breath. Just moments ago, she had feared it might be Kazuhiko drawn by scent, following them. "Thank you very much," Koko Kane replied graciously. Kane Koko and Shinobu Koko bowed gently, then replaced the door and settled down by the campfire. Despite the Butterfly Sisters' unexpected arrival, Amurari and Takina were not inclined to chat at that moment. Silence fell over the cave. Kane Koko and Shinobu Koko exchanged a glance. They sensed the fear, worry, pain, and sadness emanating from the woman and girl who appeared to be mother and daughter. There were few signs of long-term habitation in the cave, indicating they likely sought refuge here recently. They must have fled here as well, Shinobu thought. She and her sister had encountered similar situations and witnessed more than their fair share of despair. Softly, Kane Koko asked, "May I ask if you've encountered trouble?" Amura began, but her eyes welled with tears. She couldn't bring herself to relieve the day's events. Just thinking about it threatened to overwhelm her. "Is your trouble related to demons?" Kane Koko inquired gently, sensing the gravity of their situation. You know about demons." Takina lifted her head suddenly. Kane Koko lifted her haori, revealing the long sword at her waist. My sister and I are members of the Demon Slayer Corps. We specialize in fighting demons. Only then did Takina notice their weapons. Aomura grasped Kane Koko's hand desperately, disregarding their age difference. Tears streamed down her face, her emotions on the edge. Please, please save Aoki. Kane Koko's expression turned serious, though her voice remained gentle. She patted Ri's hand reassuringly and asked, please calm down and tell us what happened. Who is Aoki? What exactly occurred? Takina rushed to explain, anxiety lacing her voice. My father turned into a demon, and Aoki is fighting him to help us escape. The butterfly sisters exchanged solemn glances. The situation was graver than they had anticipated. But now, their priority was clear: rescue. Take us to where the demon appeared immediately, Kane Koko instructed firmly. Yes. Aomura and Takina replied in unison, their urgency matching that of the sisters. Kane Koko kicked aside the branches blocking the cave entrance, hoisted Aomura onto her back, and charged into the heavy rain, with Shinobu Koko and Takina close behind. Chapter 5, White Walkers. The world appeared blood-red, as if painted in crimson. A strange heat coursed through his body, dissipating all pain in its wake. Violent killing intent surged within him, accompanied by a bloodthirsty desire and intense hunger that began to consume his thoughts. Aoki's mind spiraled into chaos, yet amidst the turmoil, he faintly sensed an abnormal consciousness growing stronger. Simultaneously, his human emotions rapidly faded, replaced by an overwhelming craving for human flesh and blood. Aoki instinctively resisted this transformation, his brow furrowing with visible pain. To him, losing his autonomy and becoming a demon that feasted on humans was more intolerable than death itself. Sadly, he couldn't even contemplate suicide now, only a faint subconscious instinct remained to resist the onslaught upon his body and soul. Yet, this resistance felt as futile as an ant trying to stop a rolling wheel. Ding dong! Special blood power detected. Absorbing. The absorption of the ghost blood is complete. Congratulations on obtaining the profession Demon Devourer. Strong resistance detected, modifying the career template. Career template modification completed. Congratulations on obtaining the career White Walker. Aoki's eyes snapped open, gasping for breath, fear evident in his gaze. Almost. He nearly succumbed completely. Thankfully, the system is incredible. Muzan Kibutsuji. Aoki clenched his fists tightly, then gradually relaxed them. Revenge must be sought, but not yet. Gradually calming his emotions, Aoki first touched his forehead. The hole punctured by Muzan Kibutsuji had vanished, and the grievous wound on his chest had healed. He glanced to the side once more. The tree trunk stood bare, and the hunting knife lay silently on the ground, its blade submerged in mud and water. Kazuhiko Aomura had vanished completely, leaving no trace in this world. Aoki felt a pang of melancholy. I remember this world believes in souls and reincarnation. I wonder if Master has successfully reincarnated. Walking over, he picked up the hunting knife and turned away. Upon returning home and packing his belongings, Aoki soon re-emerged with a package in hand. Surveying his surroundings, his eyes swept across the house, the fence, the firewood in the corner, and the tables and chairs in the yard. Silence filled the moment. With the package secured on his back, Aoki stepped out, his figure soon disappearing into the night shrouded by heavy rain. The rain gradually ceased, the dark clouds dispersed, an array of sunlight pierced the darkness. Two figures burst into the yard like a gust of wind. Koko Shinobu swiftly surveyed the surroundings, her young face tense. No movement, no demons were found. Takina's hands clenched into fists, knuckles white with tension. What about Aoki? How is Aoki? Koko Shinobu bowed her head, silent, her eyes burning with anger. The disappearance of his body after battling the demon spoke volumes. On their way here, she had learned more about the situation. Her father had transformed into a demon and devoured her future husband. The cruelty of it all was unbearable. Takina slowly sank to the ground, the mud and water seeping into her clothes. Aomura gazed at the familiar yard with a vacant expression. Koko Shinobu frowned deeply, her demeanor serious as she scanned for any trace of the demon. During their journey here, she had harbored little hope of rescuing anyone. Too much time had elapsed. In a short span, ordinary people might still stand a chance against demons, but now an entire night had passed since the demon had appeared. Koko Shinobu quickly surveyed the surroundings, her youthful face serious. No movement, no demons found. Takina's hands clenched into fists, knuckles white with tension. What about Aoki? How is Aoki? Koko Shinobu bowed her head, silent, her eyes burning with anger. The disappearance of his body after battling the demon spoke volumes. On their way here, she had learned more about the situation. Her father had transformed into a demon and devoured her future husband. The cruelty of it all was unbearable. Takina slowly sank to the ground, the mud and water seeping into her clothes. Even a newborn demon was almost invincible to humans without knowledge of breathing techniques. But at the very least, she wanted to deal with the demon, avenge the honorable man named Aoki, and prevent more people from falling victim to demons. Unfortunately, the heavy rain had washed away all traces, and tracking down the demon again might prove difficult. Koko Kane pondered briefly, exchanging a glance with her sister. Though Koko Shinobu appeared somewhat puzzled, she moved towards the wooden house. Returning to the yard with slightly hastened steps, she announced, "Here's a letter, addressed by Aoki." Aomura suddenly looked up, while Takina rushed over eagerly, snatching the letter from Koko Shinobu and reading it aloud in a rush. "Lady Ri, Takina, the demon has been vanquished. It's unsafe in the mountains, so please evacuate as soon as possible. Once relocated, remember to plant wisteria flowers around your new home or sprinkle wisteria pollen. These can ward off demon attacks. I'm safe, don't worry about me. I have personal matters to attend to, so I must depart, but I will visit you again soon." Takina froze for a moment, then collapsed to the ground, covering her face and crying uncontrollably, a torrent of sorrow, pain, fear, worry, and grievance in her sobs. Aomura embraced her tightly, whispering, "We're fortunate to be alive. We're fortunate to be alive. We're fortunate to be alive." Exhausted from fear and sleepless through the night, her emotions overwhelmed her, and she soon fell asleep in tears. Aomura also appeared drained, guided by the Butterfly sisters to her room to rest. Butterfly Kane gently closed the door behind them and settled on a stool in the yard with Butterfly Shinobu. Glancing around, she sighed, "This house is beautiful, and the yard is well maintained. They must have lived happily here before." Butterfly Shinobu paid little attention to the house and yard, she was more curious about something else. "Sister, you mentioned Aoki didn't know breathing techniques. How did he defeat the demon?" Kane Kaocho smiled gently, "I'm not sure myself, but defeating a demon without breathing techniques isn't impossible. Didn't Mr. Haimjima accomplish it?" Shinobu Kaocho almost retorted with, "Mr. Haimjima is special," but then recalled Aoki had indeed slain a demon without breathing techniques. Although it was a fledgling demon, it demonstrated his unique abilities. "It's a shame he's gone, otherwise, we could have recommended him to join the Demon Slayer Corps. Perhaps he could have become a pillar." Kane Kaocho tapped her forehead thoughtfully, remarking, "Shinobu, the work of the Demon Slayer Corps is perilous. We can't recruit people unless they seek us out." Shinobu Kaocho insisted, "But surely he seeks revenge too." Kane Kaocho offered no argument. Aomura and Takina slept for nearly a day. The next morning, despite their profound grief, the two gathered their strength to first construct a tomb for Aomura Kazuhiko, then commenced packing with assistance from the Kaocho sisters. "Let's go, Takina." Aomura beckoned. "Okay, I'm coming." Takina cast a final glance at her childhood home, turned away, and headed outside. They packed lightly. It was inconvenient to carry too much, and they anticipated returning one day. For Aomura and Takina, this was their home. Once Aoki finished his business, they planned to return to live here. Chapter 6, 2-star profession and 4 major skills. Aoki stood in the cave, where dense stalactites hung from the ceiling, and cold river water cascaded over the rocky walls. Splash! A swift figure emerged from the river. Aoki brushed his hair back, shaking off the water droplets, and quickly changed into dry clothes. This cave was a hidden gem he stumbled upon while hunting with his master. The damp and dark environment, inhospitable for humans, was a perfect hideaway for demons. Leaving Takina and his master's wife was a decision he made after much contemplation. His future was bound to be tumultuous, and to shield them from danger, maintaining a distance was the safest choice. Aoki glanced down at his reflection in the water. His face remained almost unchanged, but his eyes had transformed into golden vertical slits, giving him an unsettling, indifferent look. He opened his mouth, revealing sharply protruding canines, like those of a predator. Additionally, his nails had become harder and sharper, capable of serving as natural weapons. As he studied his reflection, Aoki's thoughts drifted to the heavy burden he now carried and the path he had chosen to walk alone. Apart from these changes, there wasn't much else to note. Aoki was quite satisfied with this outcome. Among demons, many possessed grotesque, alien forms, and half of the upper moons were such aberrations. Not only were these forms often hideous, but they were also inconvenient. Aoki preferred to retain as much of his human appearance as possible. He picked up the fish he had just caught. With a quick swipe of his sharp nails, the scales fell away, and he deftly cleaned and gutted the fish. After preparing it, he took a tentative bite. It was like chewing on wax, utterly tasteless. Aoki sighed in disappointment. Since becoming a demon, his sense of taste had all but vanished. For ordinary demons, there was still the allure of human flesh and blood. However, due to the influence of the system, he had no craving for such things, effectively eliminating his interest in food altogether. Moreover, his transformation into a demon had other consequences. He no longer felt any sexual desire, nor did he have the capacity for reproduction. Even physical sensations of pleasure had dulled to insignificance. Being a demon, in many ways, was a bleak existence. System, Aoki murmured, pushing aside his complex thoughts. With a mental command, an azure screen appeared in his vision. Name, Aoki. Strength, 8. Constitution 7. Intelligence, 7. Agility, 6. Profession, Hunter, White Walker. The attributes have increased dramatically. Aoki observed, his eyes widening. Strength and Constitution had each risen by 3 points, while Intelligence and Agility had increased by 2 points each. Altogether, he had gained a total of 10 attribute points. Aoki couldn't help but be impressed. The transformation had not only changed his body but significantly enhanced his capabilities. Feeling a mixture of curiosity and anticipation, Aoki began to contemplate how he could leverage these new strengths in the journey ahead. Converting to the hunter profession had been like leveling up 20 times. It was astonishing. Aoki's gaze shifted to the occupation column, specifically the entry for White Walker. Another screen popped up, detailing its attributes. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV1, 0/100. Skills, Demon Blood, not yet learned, Space Shuttle, not yet learned, Transparent World, not yet learned, Demon Devouring. Quest, none. A 2-star occupation. Aoki's eyes were drawn to the quality rating. Occupation quality directly correlates with the strength and potential of a profession. The most evident differences lie in the attribute points gained and the maximum level achievable. In this system, represents half a star. Represents a full star. For example, Hunter is a half-star profession. It grants 1 attribute point every 2 levels and caps at level 5. Beyond that, it doesn't require or benefit from experience points and cannot level up further. A 2-star profession, like White Walker, provides 2 attribute points with each level up and can be advanced to level 20. No wonder it's considered a truly extraordinary power, Aoki thought, nodding to himself as he scanned the skill section. Skills are the heart of any profession. Reviewing the 4 skills available to the White Walker, Aoki was amazed by their potential. Demon Blood, the essence of demonic power, influencing many of the supernatural abilities inherent to being a demon. Space Shuttle, a renowned teleportation skill. Upon closer examination, Aoki realized this skill functioned as his blood demon art, a revelation that was both surprising and fitting. Transparent World, the ability to perceive the world beyond its physical form, an advanced sensory skill. Demon Devouring, likely an ability to consume other demons. Each of these skills, once mastered, could drastically enhance his capabilities. With these thoughts in mind, Aoki's resolve hardened. He knew that mastering these powers was crucial, not only for survival but also for the vengeance he sought. Blood demon arts are not generated randomly, they are intrinsically linked to the emotions, memories, and significant characteristics that a demon deeply recalls from their life before death. These could include their profession, obsessions, or any profound experiences they had. For Aoki, the most impactful and profound experience was undoubtedly his time travel. This profound influence aligns perfectly with his blood demon art of Space Shuttle, a power that almost seems tailor-made for him. The Transparent World is one of the strongest abilities in the demon realm. Throughout the story, it is mentioned that only 7 individuals have unlocked this power. But one must ask, is this really a skill that a demon should possess? The ability to devour other demons, replenish their own consumption, and enhance themselves embodies the true nature of the demon. This skill is inherently activated, not learned, making it unique among their abilities. The 4 primary skills of the demon are exceptionally powerful. Yet, these are not the only capabilities they possess. As demons, they also have access to all the general powers that demons enjoy, such as formidable regenerative and recovery abilities, immense physical strength, dark vision, body control, and extended lifespans. In essence, the demon not only wields extraordinary individual powers but also benefits from the full range of general demon abilities, making them a force to be reckoned with. As Aoki grows up, he will undoubtedly become much stronger than ordinary demons. The career template provided by the system is far superior to ordinary professions. This holds true for both demons and hunters. However, amidst these skills and powers, the greatest aid from the system is its ability to help him retain his humanity and avoid becoming a man-eating monster. Ding dong! A sudden system prompt echoed in Aoki's mind. Obtained mission, the Road of the White Walkers. The Road of the White Walkers. You're already familiar with the abilities of the White Walkers, so let's embark on the first hunt. Mission requirements: devour a demon. Mission rewards: 70 experience points. Sunshade Hat. Are you here for a mission? The Path of the White Walkers. Aoki perked up. Missions offer a shortcut to rapid level upgrades. The reward of 70 experience points is certainly generous. He might not accumulate that much even after a month of busy activities if he's unlucky. As for the Sunshade Hat, it might sound ordinary, but it's the first tangible item he's encountered in the system, something he can't afford to overlook. Suppressing his inner excitement, Aoki reminded himself, before hunting demons, he must first master the powers of the White Walkers. Strength does not equate to combat prowess alone. Strength is crucial, but mastering the skills to wield that strength is equally important. His 4-dimensional attributes have seen a significant increase, accompanied by numerous new skills and abilities that require familiarization. Moreover, he hasn't forgotten that his initial training with the career template allowed him to gain valuable experience. A week later, Aoki emerged slowly from the cave. The bright moon hung high, casting a dim glow over the stars in the sky. The breeze whispered through the leaves, rustling softly. The expansive view before him provided a sense of relief. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV1, 18/100. Skills, Demon Blood, not yet learned, Space Shuttle, not yet learned, Transparent World, not yet learned, Demon Devouring. Mission, The Road of the White Walkers, 0/1. Aoki glanced at his career panel. This week, he had gained 18 experience points through rigorous training. Though modest, it was steady progress. He paused, recognizing that his experience gains were gradually slowing down, and secondly, he was famished. In the process of transforming into a demon, one expends a significant amount of energy. This week, Aoki had only managed to eat a few fish, far from enough to satisfy his body's needs. Confirming the direction, he hurried onward. Thanks to his dark vision, the night seemed as bright as day, and his eagle-eyed vision made everything clear. His robust physical strength spared him from worrying about fatigue. One had to admit, in terms of physical prowess, demons surpassed humans by far. As he progressed, the surroundings grew more familiar. Crossing a hill, a well-known wooden house came into view. Aoki approached slowly. The yard lay empty, covered in dust and fallen leaves. Chapter 7, Mount Fuji/Transition. The cold moonlight enveloped the earth as Aoki darted through the deep mountains and ancient forests like a cheetah. With the tap of his toes, he effortlessly leaped several meters at a time. Where should he go to find demons? A few places came to mind with a high likelihood of encountering them. Asakusa, for instance. Tamayo and Yoshiro were likely there, and Muzan Kibutsuji might also be lurking in the shadows. However, Tamayo and Yoshiro were off-limits for killing, and Muzan was simply unbeatable. There was also the lower 5th, Rui, and his family at Mount Nadagumo, and the upper 6th, Daki and Jayataro, at Yoshiwara. But there was the recurring issue: his insufficient strength. Having just transformed into a demon, how could he match the 12 Kizuki? These elite monsters could only be dealt with once he became more powerful. For now, he needed to practice on novice monsters. Was there a place where he could easily and quickly find a large number of new demons, or demons that consumed fewer people? Aoki suddenly halted. Such a place did exist. Mount Fuji. It was the final evaluation ground meticulously set up by the Demon Slayer Corps. All captured demons were contained there by the hunting team, comprising weak demons that had only consumed 2 or 3 people. The strongest hand demon there is only at a level Tanjiro could handle right after completing his training, Aoki pondered seriously. Mount Fuji would be the ideal location for leveling up. It teemed with demons, all relatively weak. But there was the issue of the Demon Slayer Corps and the wisteria flowers. The reason the demons on Mount Fuji hadn't escaped was the wisteria flowers that grew from the foot of the mountain to its slopes, blooming year-round. To demons, wisteria flowers were highly poisonous. And he wasn't certain if any demon slayers were guarding Mount Fuji. Ding dong! Received the mission, Fuji Mountain Copy. Fuji Mountain Copy. Mount Fuji is home to numerous demons. The strongest, the hand demon, has been hiding there for decades and has consumed nearly 40 humans. Mission requirements: eliminate 30 demons and defeat the hand demon. Mission reward: 300 experience points. The reward was simple and straightforward, yet exceptionally tempting. Now I must head to Fuji Mountain, Aoki remarked, gazing up at the sky. But before I depart, preparations must be made. Firstly, he needed to pinpoint the location. He only knew the name Fuji Mountain, nothing more. Secondly, he needed supplies to navigate the sea of wisteria flowers. A week later. Dark clouds blanketed the sky, plunging the night into an eerie depth. Today's weather looks favorable, Aoki commented, eyeing the mountain ahead. Wisteria flowers sprawled from the mountain's base to its midsection, lending Fuji Mountain a mystical beauty shrouded in purple haze. However, Aoki couldn't help but feel an intense aversion. For demons, wisteria flowers were lethally poisonous. Even upper-rank 2 demons could succumb to their effects if exposed excessively. This repulsion and resistance to wisteria flowers were ingrained in a demon's blood. Fortunately, I've prepared for this, Aoki declared, producing a peculiarly shaped garment. It was a protective suit specially crafted for him, sealed tight to prevent any exposure. Glass was sewn into the eye sockets. Despite becoming a demon, Aoki's appearance was almost identical to that of a human. Except for Demon Slayer Corps masters, ordinary people wouldn't notice anything amiss. He could still freely traverse human towns at night. Aoki donned the protective suit and commenced his ascent. Demon Slayer Corps members guarded the mountain's base, but security was lax, likely just to deter nearby villagers from wandering in. Aoki easily evaded their notice and slipped into Fuji Mountain. You may inhale a trace of pollen, but it shouldn't affect you much, Aoki reassured himself, wearing a specialized mask over his face. Satisfied his body could tolerate it, he quickened his pace. Scaling the mountainside, the wisteria flowers abruptly vanished. We've arrived. Aoki sighed in relief. Though he remained unscathed, traipsing through wisteria flowers was far from enjoyable. He carefully shed his protective suit and concealed it in a secure, hidden spot. He'd need it for his return. Let's begin, Aoki resolved, wasting no time as he ascended the central path steps. Departing the mountainside square, traces of human activity dwindled swiftly. Fuji Mountain was unnervingly silent. No wildlife was visible, only the occasional insect's chirp broke the stillness. Have the demons devoured all the animals? Aoki wondered aloud, senses on high alert as he advanced cautiously. As a seasoned hunter, he understood that patience was paramount in hunting, particularly in tracking prey where every suspicious sign warranted scrutiny. I haven't seen you on this mountain. Are you new here? A voice suddenly echoed from behind. Aoki paused, swiftly turning. A demon with blue veins coursing over its body, a sharp horn protruding from its forehead, and eyes almost bulging from their sockets perched on a treetop, regarding Aoki with malevolent eyes. The Demon Slayer Corps is sending demons to Fuji Mountain again? Is the final selection about to commence? Ha 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 ha. I intend to feast even more this time. The demon cackled maniacally. Aoki fell silent for a moment. Well, it seems demons are unlike beasts, they come looking for trouble. Boom. Without warning, the horned demon lunged at Aoki, claws slashing towards his face, eyes wild with malice. Ha ha ha. Rookie, allow me to teach you Tang Zishan's survival rules. A foul gust assaulted Aoki, yet he remained undeterred. Stepping forward, he extended his fingers, slowly curling them into a fist. His body tensed like a taut bow. All the pent-up strength within him coalesced, propelling his fist like a cannonball from its muzzle. Upon impact, a powerful force surged. With a snap, the horned demon's arm twisted back at an unnatural angle. Simultaneously recoiling 3 steps, nearly losing his balance, Aoki met the horned demon's gaze anew. A surge of elation flooded Aoki's heart. Weeks' worth of pent-up depression, sorrow, anguish, and rage seemed to pour out with that punch. He unleashed a resounding roar, launching himself towards the horned demon. Ha ha ha! Come on then! The horned demon had no choice but to engage. Their combat was raw and unrefined, devoid of finesse. You punch, I punch, you strike, I claw. Each move was the epitome of direct confrontation. The horned demon, clearly inferior to Aoki, swiftly found itself at a disadvantage. Snap! Another arm twisted grotesquely, the horned demon stumbled back, only halting when it collided with a massive tree. Panting heavily, fatigue etched across its face. Wait, I yield. Let me go. If you want to fight, then fight, if not, then don't. It's not that simple, Aoki replied, unwavering, and surged forward, delivering another punch. The horned demon, unable to counter, crossed its arms defensively. We're both demons. There's no point in continuing this fight. Aoki said nothing, yet his next punch surged with heightened power. Boom! The horned demon's defense crumbled. Aoki's follow-up punch landed squarely. Boom! The horned demon's visage collapsed, its head slamming heavily into the tree trunk behind it. Eyes rolling back, it lost consciousness. Finally done, Aoki declared, lifting the horned demon's head. Whether it makes sense or not, you don't get to decide. Chapter 8, Sunshade Hat. Devour it. Aoki's eyes narrowed as he activated Devour Demon. A swirling vortex appeared in his palm. The body of the sharp-horned demon twisted and compressed, from head to neck, and then to the chest, gradually sinking into Aoki's palm. The battle just now wasn't mere venting. Devour Demon could be easily interrupted, so before launching it, Aoki ensured the target couldn't resist. In the blink of an eye, the sharp-horned demon was devoured by Aoki's palm. A surge of energy poured into his body, finally dispelling the intense hunger that had plagued him since turning into a demon. Kill a demon and gain 15 experience points. Completion of the Road of the Other Walker, and reward issued. Congratulations on your upgrade. 15 experience points. Not bad. Aoki nodded slightly, and immediately a deep blue screen appeared before him. Name, Aoki. Strength, 8. Constitution, 7. Intelligence, 7. Agility, 6. Occupation, Hunter, White Walker. Free attribute points, 2. Item, Sunshade Hat. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV2, 3/200. Skills, Demon Blood, not yet learned, Space Shuttle, not yet learned, Transparent World, not yet learned, Devour Demon. Quest, Fuji Mountain Dungeon, Demon 1/30th, Hand Demon 0/1. Free skill points, 1. Aoki pondered for a moment and allocated 1 point each to strength and agility. The system panel's attributes were interdependent, maintaining a balance within 2 points ensured optimal physical performance. Deviating beyond this range could lead to serious bodily issues. For example, excessive strength with inadequate constitution might cause muscle strain or bone fractures before effectively damaging the enemy. Or, excessive strength combined with low agility could hinder body coordination and flexibility, rendering one slow and cumbersome. Given that strength had the most significant impact on physical attacks among the 4 attributes, it warranted immediate improvement. Adding 1 point to agility helped ensure all attributes stayed within a 2-point difference. With 1 skill point remaining, Aoki wasted no time in investing it in Demon Blood. He had studied it thoroughly. White Walkers differed from Hunters. While Hunter skills were independent of each other, White Walker skills were interconnected. Demon Blood served as a fundamental skill, prerequisite for acquiring more advanced abilities. Boom! As Demon Blood lit up, a surge of power coursed through his body, followed by a system prompt. All attributes +1. I didn't expect such a pleasant surprise. Aoki exclaimed. A boost of 1 point across all attributes was equivalent to advancing 2 levels, a significant enhancement. Presumably, demon abilities like regeneration and dark vision had also been fortified. Demon Blood proved foundational and pivotal, rivaling the potency of its counterparts. And finally, Aoki remarked, producing a black hat from thin air, its circumference rimmed with a circle of black gauze. The sunshade hat, another reward from the Road of the White Walkers, marked his first tangible acquisition from the system. A brief trial evoked further astonishment in Aoki's eyes. As its name suggested, the sunshade hat shielded against sunlight. Unlike conventional hats, this one fully blocked sunlight. Moreover, its protective reach extended beyond the black gauze, encompassing a cylindrical area formed by the hat's brim. In essence, wearing it allowed complete immunity to sunlight. The name may be plain, but for demons, this is undoubtedly a magic weapon. Aoki hung the sunshade hat around his neck and carried it on his back. With this, daytime fear is a thing of the past. The blue spider lily held similar promise for sun tolerance, which Aoki had considered immediately upon his transformation. However, several issues arose. Firstly, its efficacy for him remained uncertain. Muzan, the demon progenitor, possessed a system, outcomes couldn't be generalized. Secondly, the blue spider lily's brief blooming period was erratic, influenced by climate and environment. Even if located, harvesting it posed challenges. Thirdly, its medicinal preparation required expertise beyond Aoki's grasp. Lastly, locating Tanjiro's residence posed its own difficulties, despite being feasible with time. Given these constraints, Aoki focused on the system's potential to overcome sunlight. If the system fails, then seeking the blue spider lily becomes imperative. Name, Aoki. Strength, 10. Constitution, 8. Intelligence, 8. Agility, 8. Occupation, Hunter, White Walker. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV2, 3/200. Skills, Demon Blood, Space Shuttle, not learned yet, Transparent World, not learned yet, Devour Demon. Mission, Fuji Mountain Dungeon, Demon 1/30th, Hand Demon 0/1. Reflecting on his newly enhanced attributes, Aoki's spirits lifted. Compared to his pre-demon self, his attributes had doubled, a substantial improvement. Attributes didn't progress linearly, gains were greater at higher levels. Aoki adjusted the sunshade hat, chose a direction, and set off. 1 week later. The third one. Aoki took a breath, grabbed the demon's head, and activated Devour Demon. Efficiency's been good tonight. This marked the third demon he'd captured that night. Previously, he'd managed to catch at most 2. Ding dong. A familiar voice echoed in his mind, leaving Aoki stunned. Leveled up? I thought I needed more than 20 experience points. Before he could ponder further, another system prompt chimed in. Physique +1. Hey? Where did this physique come from? Aoki examined the system panel, contemplating the implications for Devour Demon. Replenishing physical strength and self-improvement. It seems improvement is quite literal here. The sound of rustling footsteps interrupted his thoughts, prompting Aoki to glance back. A demon with a long tongue darted out of its mouth, swiftly vanishing into the jungle. You're lucky, Aoki muttered, hesitating momentarily before deciding against pursuit. Dawn was approaching, leaving insufficient time to handle another demon. Moments later, a crimson sun ascended from the horizon, bathing the world in bright light. Aoki donned his sunshade hat and departed swiftly. After several days of use, he found it secure even during vigorous movement. Of course, relying on it for daytime combat remained impractical. Chapter 9, The Demon Plots Against Aoki. Another night fell over Fuji Mountain, casting an eerie ambience over the dense forest where more than a dozen demons lurked, eyeing each other warily but refraining from action. Standing amidst them, a demon with a long tongue spoke in an excited tone, gesturing animatedly, I saw it with my own eyes. He's incredibly strong. Shinichi Tsutsumi was no match for him. He subdued him quickly, rendering him unable to resist, and then he devoured him whole. A skeptical demon nearby interjected, how is that possible? Demons eat humans, not each other. The long-tongued demon shot back angrily, are you calling me a liar? Another demon smirked, no one said that. Maybe you just saw it wrong. The long-tongued demon snapped, do you think I'm as clueless as you? Haven't you noticed the sudden decrease in the number of demons on the mountain? A female demon with long hair perched on a branch above, looking down at the commotion, asked, so what? Is that the only reason you gathered us here? To share news. The long-tongued demon raised his arm, slamming it down with determination, no, we're here to find this demon and kill him. If we don't act now, he'll devour all of us sooner or later. The other demons exchanged dubious glances. Anticipating their doubt, the long-tongued demon continued, "Why do you think he's interested in eating demons? Eating humans makes us stronger, so eating demons." He left the sentence unfinished, but the implications were clear, sparking a glint of greed in the eyes of the assembled demons. Trapped in their demonic existence, they only had rare opportunities during the Demon Slayer core assessments to feed on humans, and only a few succeeded. The gnawing hunger tormented them all. If they could learn to consume demons, they wouldn't just alleviate their hunger but also grow stronger, perhaps even find a way to escape their wisteria prison. These fools, the long-tongued demon sneered inwardly. He sought their help because he wasn't confident in facing the mysterious demon alone. But he had only gathered weaker demons. None of them knew he had secretly devoured 2 individuals during the last Demon Slayer core assessment, bringing his total to 7. His strength far surpassed those who had only eaten 1 or 2. Ultimately, he would reap all the rewards for himself. Hehe, why wasn't I invited to this interesting gathering? A strange voice interrupted, sending a shiver through all the demons. Thud, thud, thud. Heavy footsteps approached as a colossal monster emerged from the shadows. Covered in arms and with only yellow eyes visible, the creature exuded a sinister aura. The long-tongued demon's expression soured. How did he find us here? The hand demon had lurked in Fuji Mountain for over 40 years, rumored to have devoured more than 40 humans. On Fuji Mountain, he was the only one the long-tongued demon feared. Hehe, why wouldn't you want me to join such an interesting affair? The hand demon taunted, grinning as his eyes scanned the group. No, of course not. The long-tongued demon hastily replied, his mind racing. Allowing the hand demon to join was safer than risking exposure. The real challenge was ensuring he secured the greatest benefit after dealing with the mysterious demon. Eyes ablaze with desire, the hand demon declared, once I can devour demons, I'll consume every demon on Fuji Mountain. Perhaps then, I'll finally escape Fuji Mountain. Urokadaki, wait for me. The other demons reacted with sneers, mockery, fanaticism, or secretive pondering. Go to hell. Die. Die. A demon with a saw-toothed mouth swung wildly. Seizing an opportunity, Aoki stepped in, his arm slicing like a blade. Puff. The neck snapped, and the body separated. Aoki swiftly grabbed the head and retreated. The headless body pursued, the head in his grasp wearing a manic expression, tongue lashing out like a sharp arrow. You've been holding that in for too long. Your mind's not right, Aoki remarked, deflecting the tongue and smashing the head against a nearby stone repeatedly. Bang, bang, bang. After several blows, the headless body collapsed, twitched, then lay still. Aoki inspected the unconscious demon's head. First kill of the night. This had become his most efficient method for neutralizing demons without the Nichiren sword. While beheading didn't outright defeat the demons, it severely impaired their combat abilities. Devour. Without hesitation, Aoki activated Devour Demon. Kill a demon and gain 11 experience points. Congratulations on your upgrade. Only 11 points? That's less than before, Aoki noted, examining the system panel. After some thought, he allocated 2 free attribute points to strength and intelligence. His body bulked up slightly, clothes straining to contain his growing muscles. Agility affects balance and coordination, a low score just means clumsiness. But intelligence controls how well I handle this newfound strength. If it's too low, I might lose control. After a brief adjustment, Aoki invested his free skill point in Demon Blood and received another across-the-board attribute boost. Name, Aoki. Strength, 12. Constitution, 10. Intelligence, 10. Agility, 9. Occupation, Hunter, White Walker. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV3, 2/300. Skills, Demon Blood 2, Space Shuttle, Unlearned, Transparent World, Unlearned, Devour Demon. Mission, Fuji Mountain Dungeon, Demon 16/30, Hand Demon 0/1. Strength at 12 is sufficient for now. Next, I should focus on balancing the other attributes. Aoki pondered his options, eyes lingering on the skill bar. Is level 2 Demon Blood still inadequate? He attempted to learn Space Shuttle and Transparent World, but the system denied him due to insufficient prerequisite skill levels. Their potential impact on combat far exceeded minor attribute increases. Crash! A faint noise interrupted Aoki's musings. He turned, calm and composed, observing a fleeing demon in the distance. Aoki watched without immediate action as the fleeing demon halted and turned back, glaring with fury. Chapter 10, The Correct Use of Demon Devouring. After a while, demons emerged one after another from the darkness, surrounding Aoki. "How did you find out?" asked the demon with an extraordinarily long tongue hanging out of his mouth, his face stern. "Such poor hiding techniques, it's obvious at a glance," Aoki replied, glancing at all the demons around him. "So many demons approaching me together, what's the purpose?" The long-tongued demon didn't mince words. "Stop pretending. I saw you eat Shinichi Tsutsumi with my own eyes. Show me your demon-eating method, or you'll die today for sure." "I see," Aoki responded suddenly. "You've got some ideas." He didn't bother hiding it, he didn't care if the secret was out. In the second chapter, he became everyone's enemy in this world. Demons were his food, and the Demon King was his revenge target. As a demon, he couldn't establish true trust with humans. The long-tongued demon looked at Aoki's calm expression and sneered, "You must think demons can't kill other demons, so you're not worried about your own safety at all, right? But let me tell you, there are many ways to kill you. Imagine if you were tied up and left in an open field until dawn." Aoki glanced at the long-tongued demon. Though it was a quick glance, he recognized him as the demon he encountered near dawn yesterday. It seems he's leading this siege. Being able to gather so many demons was indeed quite a skill. Aoki had to admit the current situation was troublesome. Demon power on Fuji Mountain typically ranged between 6 to 7, with very few reaching 8. In one-on-one combat, his current strength of 12 was overwhelming. However, if harassed by other demons, he couldn't use demon swallowing. If he couldn't completely kill the demons, he'd be dragged into a prolonged battle. "You all want to know?" Aoki asked. "But what if only one demon can use my method?" The demon group grew restless. "You fools! Can't you see through such a simple ruse?" The long-tongued demon burst out. "It's none of your business. Just tell us the method and how we'll share it." His voice abruptly stopped as he looked at the enemy suddenly appearing in front of him, momentarily unable to react. "Are you ready to be divided?" Aoki's eyes turned cold, his fist swinging heavily. Boom! The long-tongued demon's head exploded like a tomato, and his body dropped. Without pause, Aoki turned and pounced on the fanged demon next to him. Tall and with added points, his muscles had developed significantly. Charging like a tank, Aoki overwhelmed his opponent. The fanged demon froze in fear, momentarily forgetting it was a demon, standing there trembling and confused. In the next moment, it followed the long-tongued demon, its head torn apart. Other demons finally reacted. "Get him! Don't be afraid! We're demons, we can't die! Kill him! Show us how to eat demons!" All the demons rushed towards Aoki. A demon with bone spurs on its elbows leaped closest to Aoki, fists clenched like sledgehammers aimed at his head. Aoki didn't even look back, sweeping his arms diagonally. Poof! Like a knife through butter, the bone-spurred demon split in two. This was absolute power-crushing. To Aoki, these demons were as weak as babies. Any punch or kick was unbearable for them. Unfortunately, without demon devouring, there was no quick way to kill demons. Is there a way to inhibit demon regeneration? Aoki pondered, grabbing two demons and using them as weapons, hurling them behind him. Boom! 4 demons coughed blood and were flung away. At that moment, a thick arm burst from the ground. Aoki, unguarded against the surprise attack, lowered his head in time. Boom! His nose bridge cracked, his body recoiling 2 steps back. What power! Straightening up, Aoki's face reverted, spotting the hand-shaped target of the ambush. It's the hand demon. Aoki instantly identified the enemy. Haha, we're all here now. If we can hold all these demons back, we'll complete the Fuji Mountain dungeon today. The hand demon's appearance boosted the demons, already rattled by Aoki's blows. Ha ha ha, give up the demon-eating method or die today. The long-tongued demon felt solemn yet excited. Thankfully, the hand demon joined us, otherwise, we might not defeat him today. Does eating demons make you stronger faster than eating humans? The hand demon's eyes flared, fists closing like rocket launchers. Aoki snorted, not dodging or evading, meeting the punch with his own fist. Boom! The hand demon's arm exploded, flesh and blood splattering. Before Aoki could continue, 4 demons rushed and held him back. By the time he broke free, the hand demon's arm had fully regenerated. Boom boom boom. The fight intensified. Blocking another of the hand demon's attacks, Aoki frowned, watching the arm regenerate swiftly. If there's no way to suppress their regeneration, there's no point in continuing this battle. He couldn't lose, but he couldn't win either. Continuing was just a waste of time. Though it was a pity to miss such an opportunity, there was no need to force the issue if it wasn't possible. Was there a way to suppress demon regeneration? Certainly. Nichiren Blade, part of the ultimate 3-piece set for demon hunters, was a magical skill to suppress demon regeneration. The problem was, Aoki had no idea how to use Nichiren Blade. Was there another way? An idea struck Aoki. At that moment, a fanged demon charged. Let's try it. Taking a hard punch, Aoki slashed the fanged demon diagonally with his sword. Boom! The fanged demon's face cracked and trembled. Eat it! Aoki activated Demon Devouring, turning his palm into a black hole, voraciously devouring the surrounding flesh and blood. Poof! The fanged demon's head split in two. Aoki's palm, surrounded by rapidly rotating blades, scraped flesh and blood, automatically terminating devouring before the fanged demon could struggle. With keen eyesight, Aoki noticed something. The fanged demon's head showed no signs of regeneration. A sharp sound broke the air behind him. Aoki turned and punched. The moment he made contact, he activated Demon Devouring again. Boom! Taking a heavy blow to the chest, Aoki gashed the demon's face. Aoki observed the wounds, regeneration around them had stopped completely. That wasn't an illusion. This is the correct way to use Demon Devouring. Aoki's eyes gleamed, glancing at all the demons. Today, you all will die. Chapter 11, Total Annihilation. How can he be so strong? The long-tongued demon reattached his broken arm, staring at the god of war figure in front of him with disbelief. Despite more than a dozen of them joining forces, along with the hand demon who had consumed over 40 people, they still couldn't muster the power to fight back. Why was such a powerful demon captured in Fuji Mountain? Are the members of the Demon Slayer Corps insane? As another demon was torn into pieces, fear gripped the long-tongued demon's heart, and thoughts of fleeing started to creep in. Continuing this battle meant certain defeat. But if he fled now, what future awaited him? Fuji Mountain was too small to hide in. Sooner or later, they would cross paths again, and by then, he would be the only one left standing. Would that not spell certain death for him? Wait a minute. The long-tongued demon suddenly sensed something amiss. Why haven't those fallen demons gotten up yet? Are they pretending to be dead? His eyes widened suddenly. In the bushes not far away, a demon that had been cut in two lay motionless, blood flowing from its wounds and staining the surroundings red. The long-tongued demon stared at the wound, his body beginning to tremble. No regeneration. There was no sign of regeneration at all. He turned to scan the area. All the demons lying on the ground bore grievous wounds, and none showed signs of healing. Could it be that he can not only consume demons but also prevent their regeneration? At that moment, fear overwhelmed the long-tongued demon, and he turned and fled. He abandoned all thoughts of consuming other demons or securing his future safety. Regret gnawed at him fiercely. How had he been so foolish as to provoke such a terrifying adversary? Boom! The wind rushed past his face. A figure suddenly appeared before him, blocking his escape route. No! The long-tongued demon's limbs turned cold, and his heart sank. Before he could react, a fist loomed large in his vision and swiftly closed in. Bang! The consciousness of the long-tongued demon plunged into darkness. Aoki didn't notice that the one who fell under his fist this time was the instigator, and he turned to pounce on another demon. Soon, other demons also noticed the anomaly. No, no, no! What's going on? Why aren't those demons recovering from their injuries? You, what did you do? Seeing the shattered limbs and torn bodies around her, a long-haired female demon screamed uncontrollably, fear etched deeply into her pale face. Aoki remained silent, leapt forward, and attacked. Bang! The long-haired female demon's head exploded, and her body collapsed. He's a demon. I won't do it. I won't do it. Another demon crumbled and sprinted away in a panic. I mean you are also a demon, straight face, This triggered a chain reaction, and all the demons started to flee. Thinking of running away now? It's too late. Murderous intent gleamed in Aoki's eyes. He had anticipated this scenario and had quietly prepared for it. During his previous attacks, he deliberately targeted those demons with speed and agility, leaving the others behind. Dong dong dong. Dust kicked up as he raced forward, his footsteps like thunder. Aoki was akin to a supercar, slightly less nimble but more than fast enough to outpace any opponent. The hand demon dragged his heavy body, sprinting wildly while glancing back. Damn it! Why is he so strong? Their plan had failed, and now he was risking his life. Fear, anger, and envy consumed his twisted heart, driving him nearly to madness. Suddenly, a river blocked his path. Instead of dismay, the hand demon felt a surge of relief. Excellent! I remember there's a hiding place across this river. That guy, wait until I've devoured more people and become stronger, then. His expression froze, thoughts grinding to a halt. Dong dong dong. Accompanied by heavy, rhythmic footfalls, a figure with tremendous momentum quickly closed in from behind. How is this possible? How did they catch up so quickly? Where are the other demons? Are they all dead? The hand demon gritted his teeth. Aoki leapt into the air, traced a parabola, and struck the hand demon's head with the force of a mountain. Get out of my way! The hand demon brought his forearms together to form a massive fist and countered. Bang bang bang! Muscles tore, bones shattered, blood and flesh splattered. Arm after arm exploded, and the hand demon staggered backward. Aoki somersaulted and landed gracefully. Found you! Where are the other demons? The hand demon demanded. Do you still care about the others? Aoki approached steadily. Wait, wait! The hand demon frantically waved his arms. Stop! My strength exceeds what you've seen. Trust me, you won't enjoy continuing this fight. I'd be delighted to witness your true strength. Before Aoki could finish speaking, the ground beneath him exploded, and two arms burst forth. It was the same attack the hand demon had initially used against him. However, without other demons to hold him back, this slow attack was futile against Aoki. Aoki leaped back, dodged the attack effortlessly, and seized the opportunity to grab hold. The hand demon's arm was as thick as an adult's waist, resembling a sturdy tree trunk. By comparison, King Mu's arm looked frail and slender. Yet the moment Aoki seized it, a creaking sound filled the air. The hand demon froze in place, unable to retract his arm. With a twist, Aoki snapped the arm clean off. No longer interested in toying with his opponent, Aoki discarded the severed limb and surged forward. No! Stay back! Get away! Terror gripped the hand demon. He swung his arms frantically in defense but failed to halt Aoki's advance. In moments, Aoki was upon him. Boom boom boom! After a few swift blows, the hand demon's body was riddled with holes, and he collapsed. His muscles spasmed violently, and with half his mouth remaining, he asked bitterly, You're so strong. Why were you captured in Fuji Mountain? Aoki seized the hand demon's head in his palm. Who told you I was captured by the Demon Slayer Corps? What? You? The hand demon's eyes widened in disbelief. Aoki didn't give him another chance to speak. Devour. / killed hand demon and gained 25 experience points / Only 25 points. Aoki frowned. This was disappointingly low. Had his level increased, causing the experience gained from ordinary demons to drop? Aoki had a sinking feeling and quickly returned to the battlefield. The remnants of the demons lay strewn about, appearing lifeless. Despite their battered states, these demons were still alive. Their resilience was truly remarkable. Aoki gathered all the demons together and activated Devour Demon. The system prompts began to scroll rapidly. / killed demon and gained 5 experience points / killed demon and gained 6 experience points / Chapter 12, Lower Moon. Aoki took stock. 17 demons had been besieged by him today, not counting the hand demon, yielding a total of 90 experience points. Experience rewards drop so quickly. There's no need to specifically hunt these weaker demons in the future. / ding dong, / Mount Fuji dungeon completed. Rewards issued / congratulations on your level up, / It must be from the mission reward. Aoki exclaimed, pondered for a moment, then allocated his 2 free attribute points to intelligence and agility as planned this time. A refreshing sensation coursed through him. His thought processing speed increased slightly, and his swollen muscles returned to symmetry. No need to say anything about skill points, he allocated them directly to Demon Blood, receiving another all attributes +1 prompt. Aoki was about to check the system changes when he suddenly froze. An unprecedented feeling surged through him. It was as if he had shed numerous shackles, every cell cheering, and every drop of blood rejoicing. Relieved. Free. Unburdened. It felt like a new lease on life. Aoki was struck by inspiration. Could it be that Muzan's curse planted in my body has disappeared? Whenever Muzan creates a demon, he leaves a curse in their blood. Any demon uttering his name would succumb to this curse. Moreover, he could manipulate the blood he imparted to demons, sealing their regeneration abilities and effortlessly killing them. In essence, once you became a demon, Muzan held absolute control over life and death. Currently, the only exceptions were Tamayo and Yoshiro. Tamayo had conducted numerous experiments on herself, leveraging her exceptional medical skills to break free from Muzan's grasp. Yoshiro, on the other hand, was the only demon not created by Muzan and thus not bound by the curse. This fact had long gnawed at Aoki. Even after transforming into a demon himself, he hadn't managed to sever Muzan's control. His fate remained wholly in Muzan's hands. Freeing himself from Muzan's control was more critical to Aoki than any additional attribute points. No, it's more than that. Aoki closely monitored his changes and gradually realized. It wasn't merely about escaping Muzan's control but gaining complete mastery over his own bloodline, completely severing ties with Muzan. I was contemplating whether to seek Tamayo's aid, but I never expected this threat to dissipate so suddenly. The system never fails to deliver. Aoki exclaimed, glancing at the system panel. \name, Aoki \. Strength, 13 \. Constitution, 11 \. Intelligence, 12 \. Agility, 11 \. Occupation, Hunter, White Walker \. White Walker \. Quality. Level, LV4, 118/400. Skills, Demon Blood 3, Space Shuttle, not yet learned, Transparent World, not yet learned, Devouring Demon. The novice stage is truly behind me. Aoki instinctively attempted to learn a skill. Transparent World. \sorry, prerequisite skill level not met \. Space Shuttle. \sorry, insufficient skill points \. I still can't learn. Aoki abruptly refocused. Space Shuttle. Can I learn it? He tried again, but the system message still read insufficient skill points. Does Space Shuttle have lower requirements than Transparent World? On second thought, it makes sense. Transparent World is much more complex than manipulating demon blood. Aoki nodded to himself, delving deeper into contemplation. Soon, he uncovered a troubling reality. The prerequisites for learning and upgrading skills had escalated. To acquire Space Shuttle, he needed 2 skill points, and to upgrade Demon Blood again, 3 skill points were required. It seems the phase of rapid growth is over. Aoki mused thoughtfully. The primary reason behind his substantial increase in attributes over such a brief span was the enhancement brought by Demon Blood. By learning Space Shuttle first, he could aim to upgrade Demon Blood once reaching level 9. Aoki set aside these intricate thoughts. His expedition to Fuji Mountain had concluded triumphantly, yielding a more bountiful harvest than anticipated. Now, it was time to depart. This wasn't a place for lingering. Aoki descended the mountain without regret. Simultaneously, in the bustling streets of Asakusa, a raven-haired youth, finely dressed with a pallid countenance, strolled leisurely amid the crowd. The surrounding people frolicked and laughed, oblivious to the fact that a man-eating demon lurked in their midst. Suddenly, Muzan Kibutsuji halted, his head swiveling instinctively. His gaze seemed to pierce through space, fixated on distant Fuji Mountain. After a moment, anger flickered in his eyes, mingled with disbelief. What's happening? How did he manage this? He had sensed a sudden severance of a particular connection. Upon probing, he discovered that it was a demon he had recently created, freed from his control. Could there be some secret about that human? I should have investigated more thoroughly back then. Muzan Kibutsuji's countenance turned frigid. He abhorred change, particularly change that deviated so drastically from his expectations. However, alongside his fury, a trace of regret seeped in. No matter. I must capture him. Is anyone nearby? No, one isn't enough. I need several. Ensure you capture him for me. Kibutsuji Muzan's expression turned ominously terrifying as he strode slowly toward a shadow-drenched alley. As his form cloaked in darkness, he silently vanished. The moonlight melted, and the autumn night cascaded like water. Two figures, one tall and one petite, strolled side by side, moving at an astonishing pace. The image of Mount Fuji drew nearer from afar until they reached the mountain's base, where they halted. The petite female demon sported short white hair, double horns on her brow, crimson eyes with violet pupils, and symmetrical red facial markings. Beside her, the towering figure bore horns curved akin to a bull's head on either side of his temples, his visage savage. Is this the place? The female demon gazed up at Mount Fuji, her brows furrowing deeply. Wisteria blossoms. And such a profusion of wisteria. That adult had certainly handed them a challenging mission. Not far off. Two Demon Slayer Corps members donned in brown uniforms strolled leisurely. I heard something move over here just now. Could you be mistaken? Who'd venture here in the dead of night? Maybe it's a demon. Haha, demons assaulting a mountain draped in vines of wisteria. They'd recoil upon sensing wisteria blooms every few kilometers. That's not entirely certain. But just in case. Their conversation abruptly ceased as they spotted the two figures at the mountain's base. It's a demon. Indeed, a demon. The two exchanged grave looks. They haven't noticed us yet. So. Nodding in unison, they slowly unsheathed their long swords. Water breathing, first form, water surface slash. They leapt simultaneously, launching an assault on the demons. The two demons displayed no reaction. Just when the pair believed they were on the verge of success, blood abruptly spurted from their mouths, sending them hurtling back, their chests visibly caving in. The two demons pivoted slowly, their eyes alight with mockery and amusement. The two Demon Slayer Corps members plunged into an icy abyss. By moonlight, they discerned words etched in the demons' eyes, 4 and 6, respectively. Chapter 13, Escape from Death. Lower Moons. Two lower moons, demons. Despair filled the two members of the Demon Slayer Corps. The 12 demon moons were formidable foes, opponents that only the Hashira could handle. As Mizunoto-level members, they were woefully unprepared for such a challenge. Why? One of them murmured, fear evident in his voice. Why are lower moon demons here on Mount Fuji? And why are there two of them? The other echoed, eyes wide with dread. It's from the Demon Slayer squad. The female demon, her eyes marked with lower 4, licked the blood from her fingers, a bloodthirsty gleam in her gaze. Before we fight, do you want to eat someone to replenish your strength? The Minotaur demon growled, just kill them. We can't waste time. Idiot. The female demon cursed inwardly. You deserve to be at the bottom of the lower moons. Hadn't he noticed the wisteria flowers covering the mountain? She had suggested feeding not out of hunger, but to avoid ascending the mountain. Fine, then. She said, sounding disinterested. Her appetite had waned, and she didn't even feel like killing. The Minotaur demon grunted and started towards the two Demon Slayer members. But after just a few steps, both demons stopped, their attention snapping towards Mount Fuji simultaneously. Aoki followed the mountain path downward, careful not to brush against the wisteria flowers, even through his protective clothing. I'm almost at the base of the mountain. I need to stay alert to avoid the Demon Slayer Corps guards, he thought, turning a corner. He stopped abruptly, his sharp eyesight and excellent night vision revealing the scene below in clear detail. Ignoring the two Demon Slayer members, he focused on the two demons. Why are demons here on Mount Fuji? He wondered. Just then, the two demons looked up, their eyes meeting his. Aoki's gaze hardened. Lower rank 6 and lower rank 4. Demons typically did not travel in groups unless they had permission from Muzan Kibutsuji. For two lower rank demons to come together to Mount Fuji, a place forbidden to demons, it had to be on Muzan's orders. As for their purpose, Aoki felt a chilling certainty. It must be because of me, he thought. Does Muzan suspect that I've broken free from his control? It was strange. In the original story, Nezuko had freed herself from Muzan's curse, yet he hadn't seemed to notice. However, this wasn't important. Aoki had fully mastered his bloodline, ensuring that Muzan Kibutsuji would never detect him again, no matter what happened in the future. What mattered now was dealing with these two demons. Asterisk ding dong. Mission Escape from Death acquired asterisk. Escape from Death. Muzan Kibutsuji covets your secrets and has sent many demons to hunt you down. Mission requirements: avoid enemy pursuit. Mission rewards: 1. Free skill point 500 experience points Demon Wine Gourd. So, skill points can be obtained through missions, Aoki thought, a realization dawning on him. He had been wondering about this. The number of free skill points needed to learn new skills kept increasing. At this rate, he worried he might never unlock all the skills unless he reached the highest levels. But now, he understood the way forward. 1 free skill point, 500 experience points, and a mysterious item. Those are generous rewards, Aoki murmured to himself. The greater the reward, the tougher the mission. The name alone, Escape from Death, suggested extreme danger, a situation where escaping with his life would be a narrow feat. Aoki studied the mission description, a troubling thought forming in his mind: multiple demons? Could there be more than just these two lower moons? Lower moon demons were scattered and couldn't gather quickly. The only force more formidable than two lower moons was an upper moon demon. Damn! This was like using a lion to catch a rabbit. They were pulling out all the stops. Aoki took a deep breath. Whether his guess was correct or not, his priority was clear: he needed to deal with these two demons quickly. As long as he can escape smoothly today, it will be difficult for Kibutsuji Muzan to pursue him again in the future. Why would anyone come down from Mount Fuji at this hour? Is someone here to exorcise demons? Why didn't we receive any intelligence about this? The two members of the Demon Slayer Corps exchanged confused glances. They never considered that it could be a demon. After all, the mountains covered in wisteria flowers are more terrifying to demons than a sea of fire. Unlike Aoki's solemnity and the nervousness of the two Demon Slayer members, the female demon and the Minotaur demon were visibly excited. Is it him? The Minotaur demon muttered under his breath. Mukago replied, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. We should capture him first and figure it out later. Neither demon was keen on climbing the mountain. The wisteria-covered slopes were lethal to their kind. But if their target delivered himself into their hands, it would be a great advantage. That's right. Capture him first and ask questions later. A ferocious grin spread across the Minotaur demon's face. With a burst of violent energy, he lunged at Aoki, tearing through the air. Aoki stood firm, tearing off his protective clothing and preparing to meet the attack head-on. Boom! Their fists collided with explosive force. Blood spurted out, and the faint sound of bones cracking echoed through the air. The Minotaur demon was sent flying, while Aoki stumbled back 3 steps. The blow had been evenly matched. Although Aoki had gained significant strength recently, he struggled to control it fully. The power of 13 points is actually comparable to that of a lower moon demon. This thought flashed through Aoki's mind as the Minotaur demon charged again. Their fists clashed once more, but this time the impact was far greater. Boom! The air erupted, sending shockwaves that turned into a fierce gust of wind. The sharp sound of the explosion was deafening. Aoki's arm shattered into countless fragments of flesh, blood, and bone, and his body was hurled back like a rag doll, landing in the wisteria bushes. Purple petals floated down like a mystical, beautiful snow. But for Aoki, they felt like concentrated acid burning his skin wherever they touched. His body's regeneration slowed dramatically. Without hesitation, Aoki flipped over and fled, not daring to look back. For a moment, he had thought he could contend with the lower moon demon. Reality, however, quickly set him straight. Perhaps his raw strength was comparable, but strength was only one part of combat ability. Is that his blood demon art? As expected, the blood demon art is the core of a demon's combat power. Right now, Aoki was filled with a desperate yearning for the space shuttle ability. 500 experience points will be enough to level up again, plus the free skill point reward. After completing this mission, I can learn space shuttle. It was so close, yet still a future prospect. It certainly wasn't something he could count on for this mission. The two members of the Demon Slayer Corps were dumbfounded. They had braced themselves for sacrifice, but to their astonishment, the two lower moon demons were chasing the man who had come down the mountain, completely ignoring them. Who was that coming down the mountain? It looked like those lower moon demons were specifically after him. He doesn't seem to be wearing a core uniform, nor does he have a Nichiren sword. Could he be a demon? The two Demon Slayer Corps members stared at each other in disbelief. How had a demon come down from Mount Fuji? What was happening on Mount Fuji? And why were the two lower moon demons fighting with a demon descending from there? Let's get out of here and report this immediately. Unable to make sense of the situation, they supported each other and hurried away to deliver their report. Chapter 14, Trump Card. The wisteria bushes swayed violently, and a figure rushed out. Aoki looked ghastly, purple spots covered his face, and his flesh seemed to be melting. Finally out, he muttered, glancing back, but there was no sign of the enemy. This absence didn't comfort him. He knew they wouldn't give up so easily. Whoosh! A faint hiss of air caught his ear. Aoki's expression shifted, and he barely twisted his waist in time. Tear! A sharp blade-like force grazed his side, slicing his waist deeply. Blood spurted out. Had he been a moment slower, he would have been bisected. A slender figure materialized in the air. A female demon with red eyes smiled at Aoki. You're so slow. I've been waiting for you forever. The fourth of the lower moons? Invisibility. Aoki frowned, recognizing her. It was Mukiko. She had survived until Tanjiro joined the Demon Slayer Corps but was eventually killed by Muzan himself when he abolished the lower moons. Thud, thud, thud. A towering figure approached rapidly, kicking up a cloud of dust. It's the bull-headed demon of the lower moon 6. No wonder I didn't hear any movement. He must have stayed outside the wisteria forest. Aoki's mind raced as his expression turned grim. Mukiko had vanished again. Did she become invisible once more? The faint sound of rushing air came from behind, and Aoki's arm swept backward. Whoosh! His arm sliced through empty space. Puff! Pain exploded in his back as sharp claws pierced through his chest. Aoki turned but saw no sign of Mukiko. He steadied his breath. Their speed and skill were completely overwhelming him. Thud, thud, thud. The footsteps grew louder. The bull-headed demon was closing in. Aoki braced himself, crossing his arms defensively across his chest. Boom! The force of the impact sent shockwaves through his body, causing numerous wounds to burst open. He became a bloody mess in an instant. Propelled by the impact, Aoki landed some distance away and immediately sprinted. He couldn't win against these two. Facing them together was certain defeat. Before he could get far, Mukiko reappeared, almost slashing his neck. That brief delay allowed the bull-headed demon to catch up. Crack! Aoki's arms shattered into pieces, and he crashed into a tree. Regaining his balance, he quickly dodged to the side. A claw swiped through the air where he had just stood, embedding itself in the trunk. One attacks head-on with strength, the other is fast and invisible, perfect for harassment and ambush. Together, there's no escaping them. Aoki took a deep breath, his eyes remaining sharp and clear. He lost count of how many times his arms were broken or how many holes punctured his body. He was battered, barely able to fight back. Yet, Mukiko and the bull-headed demon faced a similar dilemma. They could dominate and injure him, but they couldn't land a decisive blow, only draining his stamina. Aoki didn't let his guard down. He couldn't forget his suspicion that an upper moon might be coming. Time was against him. He needed to break this deadlock. Mukiko was the key. Aoki's eyes locked onto the fading figure of the red-eyed demon. Her speed was why he couldn't escape them. But she was cautious. She never appeared unless she attacked, and she'd disappear right after. With no opportunities, he had to create one. Boom! A powerful punch came at him, distorting the air around it with its sheer force. Aoki crossed his arms to block. Bang! His flesh and blood splattered everywhere, turning the ground into a crimson mess. In the midst of the carnage, a shallow footprint appeared, almost invisible without keen observation. As an expert hunter, Aoki's keen eyes noticed it instantly. Got you at last. It was worth covering the ground in blood. Flames ignited in Aoki's eyes. He had a trump card and had been waiting for this exact moment to use it. Blood boiling, activate. Boom! The blood in his body seemed to ignite, seeping out in beads and transforming into a crimson mist that surrounded him. His body felt like it was on the verge of exploding, teeming with unrestrained power. Boom! The ground shattered as Aoki vanished from sight. Mukiko, poised to strike, was caught off guard. In an instant, Aoki was in front of her. Exposed? Impossible. He couldn't have seen me. It's just coincidence. She thought, just as his fist collided with her chest. Bang! The immense force ripped her skin, crushed her bones, and obliterated her internal organs. How did he get so strong? Myokago's thoughts raced in terror as she noticed a gaping hole in her chest, almost splitting her in two. Aoki gripped her neck, lunged forward, and pinned her to the ground. Let go of me! Myokago shrieked, attacking wildly with her claws. Behind him, the familiar sound of rushing air signaled the bull-headed demon's approach. Bang! 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 Aoki's head was punctured several times, and half his chest was shattered. Yet, the fire in his eyes only burned brighter. He raised his fist. Boom! 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 Myokago's body was torn apart within seconds. Her neck snapped, her arm ripped from the shoulder, and her legs were broken into several pieces. Boom! Just as Aoki was about to obliterate Myokago's head, a powerful shockwave blasted him away from behind. Dare to ignore me, and you die! The bull-headed demon roared. Aoki paid no mind to his words. What a pity! Devouring a lower moon could have advanced me a level, he mused with some regret, but didn't forget his real mission. Adjusting his stance, he regained his balance and sprinted away without looking back. He had been using demon devouring during his attacks. Myokago couldn't recover quickly and was incapacitated. It was time to escape. The bull-headed demon hesitated, glanced at the struggling Myokago, and gritted his teeth, then chased after Aoki. The two demons quickly disappeared into the forest. But Aoki, boosted by his blood boiling, was far faster than usual and soon lost his pursuer. Damn it! What are you doing? The bull-headed demon roared in frustration, smashing a tree with a single punch before turning back. Chapter 15 The Punishment. Aoki was breathing rapidly, each exhale forming a white mist that emitted intense heat. He didn't know if the demons had caught up, so he could only run as far as possible. Suddenly, the violent power within him dissipated, leaving him with a crushing weakness, as if all his strength had been drained in an instant. Aoki's legs gave out, and he collapsed heavily. Momentum carried him forward, rolling until he slammed into a rock. After a few seconds, his numb mind began to clear. Huff, huff. Why do the after effects of blood boiling feel worse now than when I was still human? He gasped for air. No, I can't stay here. If they come back, they'll find me easily. With great effort, Aoki lifted his head and saw a river in front of him. Though the stream was narrow, its water level was high, and the current was swift and turbulent. Thank the gods, he whispered weakly, a faint smile forming. He didn't have the strength to jump, so he struggled to roll into the water. Splash! The river's current caught him, and he was swiftly carried downstream, his speed increasing with the flow. Ding dong! Escape from death completed. The reward has been issued. Congratulations on your upgrade. The system's notification was faint in his ears, but Aoki lacked the energy to check it. He closed his eyes and drifted into unconsciousness. Back at the battlefield, the bull-headed demon witnessed a strange sight. Myokago was self-mutilating. What are you doing? The target has escaped. He bellowed. Myokago was more enraged. Do you think I want to? His attack has a strange power that prevents my body from regenerating. I almost died. She sliced another piece of flesh from her shoulder, and though the wound began to heal, she grew paler. Prevents regeneration. The bull-headed demon was taken aback, observing Myokago's still mangled body. He believed her and softened his tone. How do we report this to that adult? We did our best. He shouldn't blame us, right? Myokago's voice wavered with worry. The bull-headed demon growled, next time we meet, I'll kill him. Myokago remained silent, tending to her wounds. She hoped never to see Aoki again. The ability to halt regeneration was terrifying. When he had pinned her down earlier, she had truly felt death's approach. To her, survival was paramount. You let the target escape. A low voice suddenly resonated. Myokago and the bull-headed demon froze. The voice was right beside them, though they hadn't sensed its presence. Slowly, they turned to see a figure standing behind them. He wore a kimono adorned with purple snake patterns and black spots. His long crimson hair was tied in a high ponytail, and red markings adorned his forehead and neck. A long sword hung at his waist. He resembled a human swordsman, save for one striking feature. His face bore 6 eyes. The irises of the central pair were inscribed with upper rank and 1. He exuded an overwhelming aura of authority. Myokugo and the bull-headed demon trembled, gripped by fear. An upper rank 1. At the Infinity Castle, Muzan Kibutsuji stood on a high platform, gazing down at Myokugo and the bull-headed demon with emotionless eyes. The 2 demons knelt, sweating and trembling. "Did you capture the target?" Muzan asked, his voice calm, revealing nothing of his mood. The bull-headed demon looked up, pleading, "Master, don't blame me. It's Myokugo's fault. She failed to intercept the target, letting him escape." Myokugo's expression shifted from astonishment to deep resentment. "Master, that demon has a power that stops our regeneration." She pointed at the bull-headed demon. "It's his fault. He didn't intercept the target when I was injured, allowing him to escape." The bull-headed demon growled, "Intercepting the target was your responsibility." "Silence! Did I permit you to speak?" Muzan's cold command was followed by a terrifying pressure. A shockwave of force made both demons vomit blood as their skin split and their bodies were covered in wounds. Muzan's arm transformed into a thick, fleshy appendage, ending in a gaping maw that bit down on the bull-headed demon. "I must blame Myokugo. It's not easy being one of the 12 Kizuki, I mustn't die here." "How did he know?" The bull-headed demon thought in shock, his heart sinking. This was exactly what he had been thinking. Muzan's voice cut through his thoughts. "How did he know? Damn it! He can read my mind." The bull-headed demon's thoughts raced as a chill spread through him. "Damn it! You truly deserve to die," Muzan declared coldly. Crunch! The maw on Muzan's arm chewed through the bull-headed demon. He screamed as his once proud regeneration failed him. "No! Please, spare me, master!" Muzan remained unmoved, watching indifferently. The bull-headed demon's screams faded until the maw had devoured him completely. Myokugo knelt, paralyzed by fear. Muzan turned to her. "You said the target's ability prevents regeneration." "Yes." Myokugo replied urgently. "Any injury from him can't regenerate unless the surrounding flesh is cut away first. And even then, the energy required to heal is far greater than usual." "Is it a blood demon art?" Myokugo trembled. "I don't know, but he also used a technique that briefly boosted his strength dramatically. It caught me off guard and allowed him to injure me." "Indeed." A dark look crossed Muzan's eyes. He realized that underestimating this human might have been a grave mistake. Myokugo risked a glance upward, cautiously hopeful that her explanation might save her. But her vision abruptly darkened. A massive maw descended, swallowing her in one bite. Myokugo didn't even have time to scream. Only a few drops of blood marked her end. Muzan Kibutsuji turned away, his face expressionless. He had no use for those who fled from battle and disregarded his orders. Chapter 16, Space Shuttle. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a pale glow over the quiet village. The only sounds were the occasional barking of distant dogs, their echoes mingling with the night. Shimura, carrying a bucket, bait, and a fishing rod, slipped quietly out of his house. Fishing was his greatest passion, but his wife's strictness meant he could only indulge it in secret, sneaking out while she slept. "Before nightfall, I set up a bait spot with corn. I'm sure I'll catch a big one tonight." Shimura thought eagerly, quickening his pace. He arrived at his usual fishing spot and, with practiced ease, adjusted the line, baited the hook, and cast his rod. As the hook hit the water, Shimura sighed contentedly. Tonight is perfect. Just as he began to worry about returning empty-handed again, the float dipped suddenly, and the line tightened. "I got a bite already." Shimura's joy quickly turned to surprise. "This one's strong. Must be a big catch." He fought with all his might, and after a grueling struggle, managed to reel in the catch. As he pulled the shadowy figure closer, Shimura's excitement turned to confusion. "This thing's enormous. Bigger than any fish I've ever seen." He hesitated, wondering if there could be such a large fish in this small river. But as the dark shape approached, his unease grew. "It doesn't look like a fish. It looks more like a person." Horror gripped Shimura as he realized the truth. "Is it a body? Did someone drown?" Despite his fear, Shimura steeled himself and slowly pulled the corpse closer. "There's no smell. Maybe it hasn't been dead long." Setting down his rod, Shimura prepared to drag the corpse ashore. But then, a cold hand seized his arm. The corpse lifted its head, revealing cold, golden, vertical pupils. Shimura's heart stopped. After a few seconds, he screamed, "A demon!" He yanked his arm free and sprinted back towards the village, shouting, "Demon! There's a demon!" A look of apology flickered across Aoki's face as he watched Shimura flee. "I just woke up. I didn't mean to scare him." Feeling a pang of guilt, Aoki grabbed a large, 5-kilogram fish and tossed it into the bucket on the shore. Glancing at the village that was now stirring with activity, he leaped away into the night. Not long after, a group of villagers arrived at the riverbank, armed with kitchen knives and shovels. "Where's the demon? Where's the demon?" Shimura, trembling, pointed to his fishing spot. "I fished it out right here." The villagers looked around but saw no ghost. Only a wooden bucket and a large fish flopping inside. An awkward silence settled over them. After a few moments, someone said, "Shimura, did you catch a big fish and then make up a demon story to show off?" "I wouldn't do that." Shimura protested, "and I didn't catch any fish." "So you're saying you saw a demon, and it gave you a big fish instead of hurting you?" Shimura was at a loss for words. "But I really did see a demon." "Describe it then. What did it look like?" "Well, it had golden, vertical pupils and looked very handsome," Shimura stammered, realizing he hadn't taken a good look in his panic. "All right, enough. Let's all go back to sleep," someone else yawned. "I swear, I saw a demon," Shimura insisted. "Yes, a kind and handsome demon who doesn't harm people but gives them big fish. I hope I meet one next time," another villager chuckled as they all began to leave. Shimura was about to argue further when a sharp pain in his side made him wince. "Ah! Wife!" His wife glared at him. "We'll discuss this at home." Shimura hung his head. "Wife, I really saw a demon. Don't you believe me?" She gave him a stern look. "I'm more concerned about you sneaking out to fish at night. No wonder you've been so tired during the day." Shimura's defiance melted away. "Pack up and don't forget the fish," she added. "Hey!" Shimura picked up the fish with trembling hands. From that night on, he never dared to sneak out to fish again. Aoki found a rock to sit on, still feeling sore and weak. "I didn't expect boiling blood to be the most effective skill from the hunter profession. It had saved him twice now. But the after effects are brutal." Aoki focused, and a blue screen materialized before him. Name, Aoki. Strength, 13. Constitution, 11. Intelligence, 12. Agility, 11. Profession, Hunter, White Walker. Free attribute points, 2. Item, Demon Wine Gourd. White Walker. Quality. Level, LV5, 218/500. Skills, Demon Blood 3, Space Shuttle, not yet learned, Transparent World, not yet learned, Demon Devouring. Free skill points, 2. Ignoring the attributes, Aoki's eyes went straight to the White Walker skill list. Space Shuttle, learn it. Learn it now. The blood demon magic used by those two demons had been a harsh lesson. But from now on, things would be different. As 2 skill points disappeared, new knowledge filled Aoki's mind, and subtle changes occurred in his body. While there were no immediate physical changes, for the first time since his transformation, he smiled genuinely. Now, the sky was open for birds to soar, and the sea for fish to leap. Whoosh! Aoki's figure vanished and reappeared 100 meters high in the air. Before he could fall, he blinked out of existence again. Space blurred around him. 2 quick flashes, and he had crossed a vast forest. What was moments ago a distant village was now behind him. The breeze rustled through the grass as Aoki lay down, half his vision filled with the starry night, the other half with the bustling town below. He had overexerted himself, but Space Shuttle had not disappointed. Blood Demon Art lacked a cooldown period, but various factors made it difficult to use instantly. Currently, Aoki could use Space Shuttle once per second without interruption. The travel distance wasn't fixed. In essence, he could teleport to any place he could see. With his eagle eye ability, this became incredibly powerful. In open sky, a single teleport could cover dozens of kilometers. On the ground, particularly in dense forests, the range was significantly shorter due to obstacles. Controlling the landing spot was another challenge, especially over long distances. During his landing just now, he overshot slightly, fusing his knees with a rock. Thankfully, he was a demon. Had he been human, his legs would have been crushed. Learning to land accurately would be a long-term task for him. The only downside of space shuttle was its high energy consumption. It drained not just physical energy, but mental stamina as well. And the further the teleport, the greater the cost. This meant Aoki couldn't use the ability recklessly or repeatedly in a short period. Chapter 17, First Encounter with Kenroji Mitsuri. It seems intelligence will need to be prioritized more in the future, Aoki mused as he stretched, feeling the subtle shift in his body after allocating attribute points. Intelligence was crucial, not just for his mental acuity but for the control and finesse required to harness his powers effectively. Speaking of attributes, I still have 2 free points left to allocate, he thought. Accessing his system panel, Aoki assigned the points to intelligence and agility. His current strength was sufficient for now, and given a demon's rapid regenerative abilities, physical fitness wasn't as pressing. There's also the demon wine gourd, Aoki murmured, retrieving the light yellow gourd from his inventory. It was an unassuming object, about 20 centimeters tall, yet he knew it held significant potential. After a moment of contemplation, he realized its purpose. Unlike the magical gourds in Journey to the West, this gourd didn't capture demons or aid in combat. Instead, it transformed ordinary wine into demon wine, a beverage that even demons could savor. In some ways, this was more precious than any combat ability. Ever since his transformation, food had lost its flavor, tasting like sand. Being able to taste again was a gift beyond value. It's almost dawn, Aoki noted. Securing the gourd at his waist, he adjusted his sunshade hat and began his descent down the mountain. The previous night's exertions had left him drained. Using boiling blood had taken a toll, and overusing space shuttle had left him further weakened. As he reached the base of the mountain, daylight had already broken. He joined the bustling road filled with people and traffic, leading to a prosperous town. High-rise buildings loomed ahead, and the streets were packed with shops and throngs of tourists. Blending into the crowd with his bamboo hat, Aoki walked unnoticed through the busy streets of Azabu. This place felt like a different world compared to his previous residence. Here, it seemed as though he had stepped into the early 20th century rather than the 19th. Navigating from the main road into a quieter alley, Aoki found himself amidst an array of food stalls selling everything from udon and ramen to tempura and sushi. The tantalizing aromas stirred a forgotten hunger within him. One shop caught his eye, a small izakaya, with a red lantern hanging at its entrance, the word izakaya written on it in bold calligraphy. Aoki's fingers brushed the demon wine gourd at his waist as he decided to enter. Inside, the space was cozy, with only 6 tables, each separated by curtains. A lone figure bustled about, preparing the place for the day's business. The izakaya was nearly empty, with only one other customer present. Aoki glanced in her direction and froze momentarily. She was a young girl, probably in her late teens, with a delicate face and a distinctive mole under each eye that added a cute touch to her appearance. She wore a pink kimono embroidered with flowers, emphasizing her mature figure despite her young age. But her most striking feature was her long cherry pink hair, styled in braids, with the tips colored light green. The girl, sensing his gaze, turned and smiled brightly, her expression lighting up with a sunny warmth. "Uncle Yakaji's sake and yakitori are the best," she said cheerfully. "Thanks," Aoki replied, quickly averting his gaze. He removed his bamboo hat and chose a table in a quiet corner of the izakaya. A woman with a warm demeanor approached, carrying a tray laden with side dishes, which she set on his table. "What would you like to drink?" she asked. Aoki handed her the ghost wine gourd. "A draft beer, please, and fill this with sake." "Certainly, sir." "Please wait a moment," the woman replied, taking the gourd and heading to the back. As she disappeared behind the curtain, a middle-aged man emerged, holding a food box and a bottle of sake. "Mitsuri, your grilled chicken skewers and sake are ready. I've also added some sakura cake," he announced. "Thank you, Uncle Yakaji." The girl with the cherry-colored braids beamed as she took the food box and sake bottle, then dashed outside with a joyful spring in her step. "Tell your father to come by the shop next time," the man called after her. Aoki quietly observed the exchange. Mitsuri Kanroji, the first acquaintance he'd encountered in this new world, aside from Muzan Kibutsuji. Unlike others, who he had barely known, he recognized Mitsuri well. Given the timeline, Mitsuri likely hadn't yet joined the Demon Slayer Corps. If he were still human, he might have considered striking up a conversation. But as a demon, it was safer to keep his distance from her. After sitting quietly for a while, Aoki decided to leave as the izakaya began to fill with more guests. The bright morning sun greeted him outside, and he squinted against its glare. I need to find a place to stay, he thought. His powers had grown rapidly, faster than he had anticipated. He needed time to stabilize and integrate his new strengths. As he wandered through the town, marveling at its blend of modern and traditional elements, he found it buzzing with energy. Asabu was a town on the cusp of transformation, bridging the old and new worlds seamlessly. In the evening, Aoki continued his search for lodging. As he walked down a quieter street, a young man with a friendly face and thick eyebrows approached him suddenly. Sir, you have a unique bone structure and exceptional talent. You're a natural martial arts genius. Would you like to join our dojo? The young man asked, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. Aoki raised an eyebrow. Unique bone structure? How did you figure that out? The young man hesitated, beads of nervous sweat forming on his forehead. Aoki smiled slightly. Who taught you that line? The young man's face reddened. I read it in a novel. Embarrassed, he quickly added, but I'm not lying. Based on your physique and demeanor, you're perfect for our Aoki style. A/N same name as the MC. Aoki style. Aoki echoed, amused. Is that name for real? The young man nodded earnestly. Yes. Aoki Ryu is a hand-to-hand combat martial art known for its speed, fluid movements, and continuous attacks. Well, we do share a name, Aoki mused. Does your dojo provide lodging? Learning martial arts sounded appealing. Despite his demonic powers, he wasn't skilled in close combat, often relying on instinct in fights. This was a significant reason he couldn't fully utilize his abilities. The young man's eyes lit up. Yes. We have plenty of empty rooms. If you join the dojo, you can stay for free. Let's check it out, Aoki agreed. He sensed something odd about the situation but felt confident in his abilities. He didn't mind exploring further. Chapter 18, News about Demons. Aoki Dojo sprawled across a vast area, adorned with exquisite, luxurious buildings, exuding an aura of grandeur. At first glance, it appeared to be a prosperous dojo. However, as Aoki stepped inside, he noticed a stark contrast to this first impression. The dojo was nearly empty. The few people he saw wore expressions of worry, fear, anxiety, and absent-mindedness. The air was thick with a repressive atmosphere. Keisuke Akiyama, a simple and honest young man, looked a bit embarrassed. He kept his head down and avoided Aoki's gaze. Interesting, Aoki thought, unfazed. He followed Keisuke into the dojo. But halfway through, they were stopped by a square-faced, majestic, and upright middle-aged man. Keisuke, who is this? The man asked. Keisuke hurriedly replied, Master, this is Aomura. He's here to join our dojo. Aomura, this is my master, and the owner of Aoki Dojo, Kengo Mizuno. To avoid trouble, Aoki had given a pseudonym, Aomura. Mizuno Kengo looked serious. Have you explained the situation at our dojo? Aoki perked up. Was he about to hear something interesting? Keisuke hesitated, unable to find the words. Kengo Mizuno didn't scold him. He sighed and turned to Aoki. Recently, 2 girls have disappeared from our dojo under strange circumstances. Rumor has it they were taken by demons. Aoki's eyes widened slightly. Demons. No wonder the people in the dojo seemed so fearful. No wonder such a luxurious dojo was so deserted. This explained everything. I'm not concerned about that, Aoki said bluntly. Keisuke's face lit up with relief. Thank you, Aomura. Come with me, I'll show you where you'll stay. Mizuno Kengo didn't say anything more. He turned and walked away, his back looking somewhat desolate. As they walked, Keisuke spoke in a low voice, Aomura, I didn't mean to hide the truth. Actually, young girls have been disappearing from the town for years, but recently, the number has increased dramatically. It's not just our dojo, it's happening in many places. People disappear every year? And the number has increased recently. Aoki frowned slightly. This demon was quite bold. Or could there be more than one demon here? What about the Demon Slayer Corps? Had they not heard about this? Keisuke's face darkened. One of the missing girls is my master's daughter. This has been a huge blow to him. If our dojo collapses because of this, I can't imagine what will happen. Aoki asked, is that why you are out promoting and recruiting people? Keisuke nodded. I have no choice. Actually, you're the only one who's willing to join the dojo. He looked at Aoki with gratitude. Aoki suddenly asked, what's your relationship with your master's daughter? Keisuke was taken aback. After a moment of silence, he finally said, we're engaged. Aoki wasn't surprised. Keisuke's words and attitude made sense now, he was more than just an ordinary disciple. Keisuke led Aoki to his new residence and quickly left. Aoki removed his hat and surveyed his new home. It was a shaded house, perfect for avoiding the sun even during the day. The room was new and clean, with all the basic furniture in place. In terms of comfort, it was even better than his previous place in the mountains. After a bit of tidying up, Aoki sat down and began to think deeply. Encountering a demon was actually a good thing for him. Although he planned to keep a low profile, he wouldn't shy away from a potential meal. Even if the demon turned out to be strong, he could always escape using his space shuttle ability. However, he was worried that the increasing number of disappearances might attract the Demon Slayer Corps. If they blamed the killings on him, it would be a big problem. Aoki quickly formed a plan, I need to find and kill the demon as soon as possible. Besides the demon, there was another issue: money. For most demons, money was meaningless. They didn't need to buy anything, and they couldn't appear openly in front of humans due to their appearance. But Aoki was different. He didn't want to hide in the mountains or forests. To live in human society, money was essential. He had plenty of ways to make money. If he wanted to, he could use his advanced knowledge to start a business or become a hunter for stable income. However, these ordinary jobs weren't suitable for him as a demon. I never thought I'd become a demon and still have to worry about making money. If nothing else works, I could become a chivalrous thief. I'll look into that while investigating the demon's whereabouts. Aoki's thoughts became clearer. He decided to act immediately. Aoki put on his hat and headed out again. He first inspected the dojo but found no traces of demons. He decided to expand his search area. As he stepped outside, he saw a familiar figure. The girl had her hands behind her back and was skipping lightly. Her cherry-colored braids swayed with each step. She was following an elegant middle-aged man and seemed to be in a good mood. Does she live nearby? Aoki wondered. As if sensing something, Kanroji Mitsuri turned and spotted Aoki. She felt a strange sense of familiarity and couldn't help but glance back. Aoki nodded slightly towards her and walked in the opposite direction. Do you know him, Mitsuri? The elegant man asked, looking towards Aoki. Kanroji Mitsuri blinked. I met him when I was buying sake for father this morning. He came out of Aoki dojo. He's probably planning to learn martial arts there. The dojo is impressive, and Master Mizuno is an excellent martial artist. It's a shame. The man trailed off, shaking his head regretfully. Mitsuri, remember, don't go out alone at night. I know, Dad. Kanroji Mitsuri nodded, stealing another glance at Aoki. She couldn't quite place it, but something about him felt different. Late that night, Aoki sat cross-legged, a low table in front of him with a blue and white porcelain bowl. He opened his demon wine gourd. The smell of alcohol filled the air. After pouring the wine, he knew it would take at least 12 hours for the ordinary wine to transform into demon wine. He filled the porcelain bowl, took a sip, and the soft, delicate touch of the wine combined with the spicy burn of the alcohol flooded his senses. For a moment, Aoki looked dazed. Chapter 19, Aoki Style. The next day, Aoki officially began his training in Aoki-ryu. However, Mizuno Kengo was nowhere to be seen. Junior brother Aomura, I'll start by teaching you the basic moves of Aoki-ryu. Once you've mastered them, Master will take over your training, Keisuke Akiyama explained. After Aoki joined the dojo, he adopted the name Aomura to fit in better. I understand, Aoki replied. The distinction between beginner and advanced classes was clear to him. In addition to Aoki, 5 others were in the junior class. They seemed to be well aware of the dojo's situation and did not object to the arrangement. Keisuke hesitated, then pointed at Aoki's bamboo hat. Junior brother Aomura, will wearing that hat affect your practice? I have a skin condition that prevents me from being exposed to sunlight, Aoki explained calmly. Keisuke was taken aback and quickly apologized. I'm sorry, junior brother Aomura. It's fine, Aoki waved dismissively. Don't worry about me. I'll observe the moves and practice them on my own in my room. Keisuke thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, if that works for you. Keisuke's movements were precise and fluid, reflecting a deep understanding of Aokiryu. As Aoki watched, he mentally practiced the moves, breaking them down and reorganizing them in his mind. After class, he returned to his room to start practicing while the memory was still fresh. But before he could begin, there was a knock at the door. Aoki opened it to find Keisuke standing there. Is something wrong, brother Keisuke? Junior brother Aomura, are you free this afternoon? Keisuke asked. Aoki shook his head. I was planning to practice what I learned. Do you need help with something? Keisuke sighed in relief and smiled. Perfect. I'll teach you more after lunch. Brother Keisuke, you don't have to do this, Aoki said. With his exceptional intelligence and memory, it wasn't hard for Aoki to recall the moves perfectly. Keisuke was adamant. Since you've come to our dojo to learn, it's our responsibility to teach you. Besides, your joining us has already been a great help. Then I appreciate it, brother Keisuke, Aoki agreed. Having someone to guide him was definitely beneficial. Keisuke, with his thick eyebrows and big eyes, was genuine and kind-hearted. In the afternoon, Keisuke arrived as promised. They trained together, the hours flying by until evening approached. The sun dipped into the horizon, casting a brilliant red across the sky and sea. Aoki practiced the basic moves of Aokiryu, executing them with speed, precision, and fluidity that belied his beginner status. As he finished, Keisuke approached, brimming with excitement. Junior brother Aomura, I knew it. You're a natural talent in Aokiryu. Thank you, brother Keisuke, Aoki replied, pleased. The Aoki style suited him perfectly. Aoki had been pondering how to develop his own combat system. Unlike swordsmen, who could build their skills around breathing techniques, the diverse abilities and characteristics of demons required a unique approach for each individual. There was no one-size-fits-all method for demons, he needed to create his own fighting style. Starting with Aokiryu had been a fortunate and fitting choice. With his high intelligence, keen adaptability, and agility, Aoki made rapid progress in mastering the techniques. Choosing to join Aoki dojo had turned out to be an unexpectedly wise decision. Keisuke didn't linger. After arranging for another lesson the next day, he hurried to his master's residence. Entering the room, he found his master gazing at a painting. It was a portrait of his fiancée. Mizuno Kengo gently closed the painting. Keisuke, why are you here? Is something the matter? Keisuke's mood sobered. Master, our new junior brother Aomura shows exceptional talent. He's the most gifted student I've ever seen. Shouldn't you consider taking him as a formal disciple? Mizuno Kengo's expression grew serious as he thought for a moment. Let's observe him for a while first. We need to consider both talent and character before accepting formal disciples. Keisuke nodded. I understand. After a moment of silence, he couldn't help but ask, Master, is there still no news about junior sister? Kengo Mizuno shook his head slowly, his once straight back bending slightly under the weight of worry. In the days that followed, Aoki immersed himself in his studies. As a demon, he didn't need sleep. With proper nourishment, his physical stamina was nearly limitless. As long as he remained mentally focused, he could continue studying and training indefinitely. His dedication and exceptional talent allowed him to master and understand the basics of Aokiryu rapidly. To avoid alarming Keisuke, he deliberately masked the extent of his progress. Another girl has gone missing. Aoki spent some time each day searching for traces of demons to clear his mind. So far, he had found nothing. Meanwhile, the disappearances continued. Yes, Keisuke replied, his face twisted with anger. She was supposed to get married in 2 days. How brazen! Aoki muttered. Even the demons like Gyataro and Daki operated under the cover of the entertainment district. Who was this demon to act so recklessly? Moreover, why couldn't he find any trace of it? Aomura, we're heading to the izakaya for drinks. Want to join us? Someone called out, interrupting Aoki's thoughts. No, you guys go ahead. I have something to take care of today. Still planning to practice? Aomura, you're really dedicated. It's late, so I need to work harder. Take care, everyone. Aoki waved them off, feeling more at ease with his dojo mates. While they weren't particularly close, there was no animosity between them either. After leaving the dojo, Aoki headed straight out of the city. He planned to train outdoors today. Practicing indoors required careful control of his strength to avoid damage. While this helped refine his control, he also needed to be familiar with his full power. Finding a secluded spot, Aoki activated his space shuttle ability and teleported several times until he reached a dense forest. The thick canopy blocked out most of the sunlight, casting the forest in a quiet, dark shadow, making it a world apart from the brightness outside. The ground was littered with broken stones and tree fragments, a testament to the intensity of previous training sessions. Aoki removed his hat, tightened his sleeves, and approached a large stone covered with fist marks. Chapter 20, Kenroji Mitsuri's Troubles. Kenroji Mitsuri had been troubled recently. At almost the age of marriage, she saw her peers getting engaged one after another, while she remained single and silent. She had always been different. The more she ate, the stronger she became, developing a strength that was terrifyingly powerful. As a child, she had been proud of her unique ability, but as she grew older, what once seemed like a gift turned into a burden. Her extraordinary strength intimidated every man she met, leaving her without any prospects for marriage. As a girl, she dreamt of marrying a man stronger than herself, but this wish seemed increasingly impossible to fulfill. Although her parents assured her that it was fine if she didn't marry, Mitsuri couldn't let go of her longing for love and companionship. Lost in her thoughts, Kenroji Mitsuri wandered out of town and found herself in a dense forest on the outskirts. When the light began to fade and her surroundings grew dim, she suddenly realized how far she had strayed. Oops! I've walked too far. I need to head back quickly. Covering her mouth in surprise, Mitsuri turned to leave. But then, a series of strange noises echoed through the dense forest. She paused and looked around curiously. What's that sound? The thick canopy of trees blocked the sunlight, making it difficult to see what was happening inside the forest. What should I do? Mitsuri wondered aloud, feeling a mixture of curiosity and hesitation. Well, maybe I should go check it out. Glancing around to make sure no one was watching, she quietly ventured deeper into the forest. Despite the eerie atmosphere, she wasn't worried about her safety. Her extraordinary strength had caused her many problems, but it also provided a significant advantage. She was more than capable of defending herself. As she moved deeper into the forest, the strange noises grew louder. Climbing a gentle slope, the dense foliage suddenly gave way to a clearer view. Mitsuri raised her head, peering forward with curiosity. Her eyes widened in amazement. Aoki stood in front of a massive boulder, practicing Aoki-ryu. Aoki-ryu, Death Calamity. He moved with sudden intensity. Jabs, kicks, and sweeps seemed chaotic and not particularly fast, but together they formed a rhythm that was as relentless and powerful as crashing waves, creating a sense of overwhelming force. Aoki-ryu, Storm. Aoki's movements shifted dramatically. Every part of his body, fists, elbows, knees, and feet transformed into deadly weapons, striking the boulder in a complex, unbroken rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. The sound was like a series of drumbeats reverberating through the air. The boulder's surface became pitted and cracked under the relentless assault. With a final blow, the boulder shattered into countless fragments, scattering in all directions. It's done. Aoki's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Mastering these two powerful moves marked the completion of his training in Aoki-ryu's basic techniques, and signified the initial formation of his personal combat system. He broke the rock. Kenroji Mitsuri covered her mouth in shock and excitement. Her own muscle density was 8 times that of an ordinary person. As a child, she had surpassed sumo wrestlers in strength. But even she couldn't break a rock of that size. Could this be real? Are there truly people this powerful in the world? Eager to see more, she leaned forward for a better look, but lost her balance and fell face first into the ground. Ouch! Who's there? Aoki turned abruptly. Oh! I've been caught. Mitsuri stood up, slightly embarrassed. Hello, sir. We meet again. I didn't mean to spy on you, I just heard strange noises and came to check. It's you. Aoki rubbed his forehead. How careless of me. Mitsuri had gotten so close without him noticing. If she had been an enemy, the consequences could have been dire. Although his focus had been entirely on death, calamity and storm, this was a wake-up call. This world was filled with threats, and he couldn't afford to let his guard down. Shaking off his distraction, Aoki greeted her. "Hello, Miss Kenroji. It's nice to see you again." Kenroji Mitsuri's eyes lit up. "Oh? You know who I am?" "I've heard of you," Aoki replied. The Kenroji family lived near the Aoki dojo. Mitsuri was well known in the neighborhood as the girl with the insatiable appetite and extraordinary strength. Mitsuri's shoulders slumped. "I guess it's all about those bad reputations." "Bad reputations?" Aoki picked up his sunshade hat and gourd, speaking casually. "Miss Kenroji, being strong is not a flaw. People criticize you because they are jealous or afraid. In reality, your strength is a remarkable talent. You are truly exceptional." "Do you really think so?" Mitsuri looked at him with wide eyes. "What good is this talent if it means no one will ever like me?" Aoki looked at her thoughtfully and smiled. "You should be more confident. Compared to you, most people are just ordinary. And as for your talent, it has many advantages. For example, you could easily outwork others in physically demanding jobs." He had no intention of developing a close relationship with Kenroji Mitsuri. When she inevitably joined the Demon Slayer Corps, their paths might cross as adversaries. It would be wise not to get too entangled with her. However, he saw no need to avoid her completely or treat her coldly. Worrying too much about a future that might never come was pointless. Mitsuri laughed, her eyes crinkling into crescents. "Compared to you, Mr. Aomura, I'm just an ordinary person." Aoki shook his head. "It's different. Most strong people become strong through rigorous training, but you were born with it." "Training? Can regular people train to be as strong as you, Mr. Aomura?" Mitsuri asked, tilting her head in curiosity. "Just call me Aomura," Aoki corrected. "And yes, there are people stronger than me. But even the ability to train and become stronger is a talent in itself. Mastering the breathing techniques, a cornerstone of the Demon Slayer Corps' power, required talent that few possessed. So, there really are people that strong in the world." Kenroji Mitsuri's eyes sparkled with newfound hope. "Mr. Aomura, are you going to continue practicing? Can I watch?" "No, today's training is over," Aoki replied, shaking his head. "Then, let's head back together." Mitsuri wasn't disappointed, instead, she beamed with a bright, sunny smile. "I've been so worried about my strength recently. It's what led me to wander into your training spot today. But now, I'm really happy." As they walked back to town, Mitsuri was brimming with enthusiasm. She had never met anyone who shared her level of strength, and she felt a connection with Aoki. She chatted animatedly about her life, her struggles, and her hopes for the future.
Thanks for listening.